take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco. What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys?
Oi.
What up?
What up?
Joe, I almost just called you Simon Grunewald also.
We are all Simon Grunewald.
The slight pause right there was like, and with
Simon
Grunewald.
Simon Grunewald.
We are all Simon
Grunewald.
on this blessed day.
Yes, we are.
The eve of the Netherlands World Cup soccer match. We are
Let us all pray.
Simon Grunewald.
Simon Grunewald.
Man, you guys got the vibes down as well.
We got it.
We got Tommy in the chat this morning. Let's see who start tonight. Could it be Baker or one step closer to Coop eating a tomato?
Tomato.
A tomato.
Ciao.
Though that's some respect being thrown on Baker's name from Tommy if that's going to prevent you from eating a tomato. We got Craig in here saying, Oi vey. What's up, Craig? Welcome in. And spooky
up,
season
Craig?
over here saying, good morning, fellers. Good morning, Spooky.
Morning, Spooky.
Scared me there.
And your average Joe's in here. What's up, your average Joe?
Up, Joe.
He wanted to know weekly prayer time for CMC's health.
Always.
Let us pray.
Almighty Dutch.
Dutch Simon Grunewald.
Dutch Simon Grunewald.
We pray to you to keep CMC safe and healthy.
And your tiny, delicious sprinkles.
The
Meatball.
sandwiches. Amen.
Meatball.
I saw a clip
And
from a
meatball
podcast yesterday where they were having people call in to ask them or to tell them their weird food things that they've done in their life, right? Like, what's your weird food thing? And this guy called in. He's like, yeah. So for about 2 years, I just put everything in a sandwich. And they're like, excuse me? He was like, yeah, like
excuse me.
it was like lasagna sandwich. Like I'd have like a mashed potatoes and gravy sandwich.
Lo
And
mein
like, so-
sandwich.
They're like, so you would just make a meal and then slap it between two slices of bread and be like, sandwich. That's
Bro,
how we're eating this.
That's
Let's get
called
rid of utensils.
that's called depression, bro.
It
pretty sure-
comes
I'm pretty
in many
sure-
forms. It
pretty
shows itself in many
I'm pretty
forms.
sure they have a name for that already.
Like, how do you even do that without like running into an issue at some point where you don't have bread and it's not appropriate to make a sandwich?
You make sure, dude. You make sure you're ready to have a spaghetti sandwich at any moment, bro.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Now, a taco, not ridiculous. You can put anything in a tortilla and call it a day. Mac and cheese tacos, that's the bomb.
Oh, never had that, dude.
They make fun of me at like my local corner store because I'll go and I'll buy mac and cheese and tortillas. And they're like, oh, what are you doing? I'm like, making tacos. They're like, what kind? I'm like, all the ingredients are right here. Like, you can see what I'm making.
And
It's
they
mac
grab-
and cheese
and
tacos.
They grab you by the collar of your shirt and they say, "Get out, get out, get out of my store." Is it good though?
And leave the mac and cheese here. Oh, it's so good. We got Albert in here saying, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Albert.
morning,
Glad
Albert.
to have you in here. And Albert, you are just in time. It is time for BYOB. Bring your own breakfast. We bring the news stories, all the important topics. You guys got to supply your own food, though, this morning. I want to kick us off today, guys. There was a headline. There was a headline that I'm going to read for you just word for word. This was from sfgate.com, the Bay Area's best free local newsletter, they call it. The title of this article was, the 49ers can't stop raving about Brock Purdy's huge balls. And they have multiple quotes in here. Kyle Shanahan said, he's got some balls out there. Forgive me for saying it that way. George Kittle said, he's got some cojones to him. If you're not confident, guys feel that. And he said, can I say that? And then Debo said, oh, he definitely has balls. It takes nuts to call a timeout without Kyle calling it. And then in the locker room, they are repeatedly calling him, according to this article, and I quote, Big Cock Brock. It is like all they can talk about is this man's genitals in the locker room.
Wow.
I mean, he just
Hell of
lets
a story to start us off with.
He just lets it swang, dude. And the thing is, there's been a few, like Chad Ochocinco always talks about that like swagger factor for quarterbacks and how important it is. Like he always talks about Tom Brady. There's the quote he had where he was like, he basically was like, he's like, Tom Brady's black. And then we were like, what are you talking about? And he was like, Tom knows what I'm talking about. But that said, he also spent a lot of time saying Zach Wilson had that swagger factor. So maybe he's not the best judge of the swagger factor.
Maybe the swagger factor does not correlate to on-field performance.
He's 1 for 2 so far.
Well, maybe he's not the judge, but I mean, Joe Burrow's got that swag, right? And he went to the Super Bowl last year. So maybe Brock Purdy just has it. Maybe he has it.
Trent Williams had a quote about him, not about his balls,
That's
but
my favorite one. I like the
he
Trent Williams
said,
one.
dude, you would think he's been in the league 15 years. If you're talking, he'll say, shut your ass up. He ain't no timid rookie feeling his way around. He will get on your ass. You would think he's like Peyton Manning or something. Woo! That's the one that got me fired up about Brock Purdy.
Me too, dude. He'll tell you to shut your ass up. That's coming from Trent Williams, arguably the best player in the entire league. Like, say it how you will. Like, Trent Williams is the best offensive lineman in the league, and offensive linemen at times are the most important part of this game. So
Brock Purdy's out here just disparaging his lines. Shut your ass up.
Shut your ass up. It's
Purdy time.
I love that.
I see Maria. That's a good morning, fellow people. Up way too early.
Yeah.
Good morning, Maria. Welcome in.
And Albert in the chat. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Albert. Albert's a dude.
Jill, I did want to ask you, what do you think about the size of Brock Purdy's balls?
I'm impressed, to say the least. Yeah.
My favorite line from this article, I'm just going to read you one more line. It was right in the very beginning. It said how they concluded like the introduction article was, but Purdy's teammates and coaches have noticed something about him. He requires custom tailored pants. And then it goes into all of the quotes about his balls from all of his teammates and coaches.
Great, that's great, man.
Shout out Dennis Young for writing that article. Great job.
Yeah. Now on some less fun news, but we have to talk about all the news. It was reported Von Miller torn ACL out for the season. Do you think the Bills can get beyond that? Do you think they can survive? A big part of the defense, no question.
I think they'll be all right. It is definitely a blow for them for that defense, but I think they'll be all right.
I'm with JL. That defense looks different when Von Miller's out there. That was a scary defense. He impacted the entire defense when he was on the field. That being said, they still have playmakers. They can still have an above average defense. And with Josh Allen, with Stephon Diggs, they're going to be fine.
Yeah. Now, the Bills this year, they're clearly in that window where the expectations are they need to win now, right? Like if they don't win the Super Bowl, then it will be considered a disappointment. It was a long time like that. It was like that for my Patriots, but now, with the team where it's at now, you'd be happy with a playoff berth. You know what I mean? Expectations are different for every team. What other teams out there do you feel where if they don't win the whole thing, then it's a disappointing season?
This year or just in general?
Just this year where it's like for instance, you look at the Lions and they know they're not winning the Super Bowl. They'd be happy breaking even. That's a successful season for that franchise. Some other franchises, they've spent so much money. They're at that point now where they have to win, and then the contracts start hitting after. That's where the Bills are. Like if they anything shy of a Super Bowl for a team like that is a disappointment.
It feels like the Bucs. The Bucs are probably in that category where they've brought their same team back essentially multiple years now, and it's a win now team, right? They know that they got Tom Brady for a short amount of time, and they're trying to go for it.
When in that same division, I feel like the Saints thought they were doing that by let's just roll with Dennis Allen and plug this hole with Jameis Winston and Andy Dalton, and they thought we can force this team to still be a Super Bowl contender, and they're just not. That's the one that's the most baffling to me, is that it feels like they were operating as a contender all offseason, and yikes.
Mm-hmm. I'll say, Scott Fish pointed out a couple that, like the Chiefs, for instance, that
Good
team,
morning, Scott Fish.
like Travis Kelce is getting up there. We're already at the point where there's only been 3 tight ends over the age of 32 to have 1,000-yard season. It's Kelce himself, Tony Gonzalez, and this guy Pete Retzlaff that played for the Eagles many moons ago. So Kelce is already in that danger zone in terms of age. He's 33. He'll turn 34 next season. So I feel like they are in that window as well. Whereas a team like the Bengals, you look at them, and pretty much all those guys, T. Higgins, Chase, Boyd, Burrow, Joe Mixon, because they just re-signed him. Those guys are all under contract for multiple years. They're in a pretty decent spot. So it's like, if they don't win this year, their window is still open, you know? So I feel that one. There's definitely some urgency with some of these teams.
Yeah, 49ers is another good call out here by the Fish. They had put a lot of money into that team. I don't know if they're going to win it, though, with these injuries, which is like the interesting part with the 49ers. It makes them an interesting narrative here.
The Packers have been trying it for the last 5 years.
Yeah, Packers
felt like their window.
Well, the Packers, same thing with Brady, the Brady situation with the Packers. Like Aaron Rodgers only got so many goes at it left. So, yeah, I would definitely say them. But there's a few of these other teams that are, that are capable of winning, but it's not as urgent, I feel. Like Eagles. Yeah, they're pretty well set up.
They're so young. Yeah, their talent's so young. The Eagles are leveraged very well.
Though a few of those players, a few of those linemen, they just barely convinced them to come back this year. So, Jason Kelce, his announcement felt like a one more time type thing. You know what I mean? Lane Johnson is definitely up there too. So maybe there's definitely some urgency there, but maybe not as urgent as some of these other teams. But the Bills, I feel, are like, now is the time.
Eagles still have a bunch of picks, don't they?
Oh yeah, dude. They have the who's picked it?
They've got somebody's top 5 pick right now, right?
Yeah,
is it the Saints?
Dude, Eagles are going to be a menace for years to come.
Speaking of being a menace, did you see the clip of Ryan Tannehill going up to AJ Brown after the game?
No.
They posted a clip of him, and you can literally hear him on the mic. He goes right up to AJ Brown and he goes, "Why'd you have to do it like that? You didn't have to do all that." That's such a funny thing to say.
You didn't have to do all that.
Man, you did not nail the delivery, Coop. He said it was like, you didn't have to do all that.
I kind of nailed it.
Said it's so funny.
I love AJ Brown's response. Hey, I got to do something.
I got to do something.
All I can do is ball, man. That's it.
I guess if I knew that Keith had the clip teed up, I probably would have watched it. I probably would have watched it more than once. Yeah,
you didn't have to do that.
Also, I pulled it up. They do, in fact, have New Orleans pick in the draft. So they've got that number 5 pick from New Orleans. See, that's what I'm saying. Like New Orleans, they're behaving like this is their window, right? Like trading away early draft picks. Like they're acting like this is their window. I don't think it is. I don't think Andy Dalton, Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill are getting you to the quarterback or the Super Bowl.
Spooky Season said, nah, Eagles building a dynasty, and we have the deepest O-line in the league. Dude, the moves they made this offseason, they're going to set them up for years to come. I'm with you.
Spooky coming out with a strong take.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Spooky Eagles. Spooky comes out.
And Albert saying that was from the Chris Olave trade. Yeah, I mean, generally on a team, that Saints team wasn't a wide receiver away from being a competitor. So that says what I'm or I agree.
What's your point?
Albert, I think that agrees with my point here is what I'm saying. Like I'm with you. That Chris Olave trade is a trade that a team that's contending makes, right? Like you go and get Chris Olave to help push you over the top, not as the piece that helps fix a broken team.
Yeah, and it's crazy that the teams that a bunch of those teams have had crazy losing streaks. You know what I mean? Like the Rams and the Broncos. So the draft order, like the worst teams in the league, based on, the reverse draft order, would be Houston, Chicago, Denver, LA Rams, Saints. But because they traded all those picks away, essentially, Houston and Chicago still have their picks, the top 2 teams. But the Seahawks have that Broncos pick because of the Russell Wilson trade. The Lions have that Rams pick because of the Matthew Stafford trade, and then that Eagles pick goes to New Orleans. So 3 of the top 5 picks are going to teams that are actually pretty good right now. Like the Lions have looked okay, but the Seahawks and the Eagles are good. So man, what a swing!
What
What
a
a swing.
That's something.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but Lions DeAndre Swift told ESPN he never lost confidence this year despite injuries. His focus is finishing strong, team first. He said, "I feel like individual success comes with the team success. I've been dealt with some cards earlier on the season that I can't control." I think this should be unsurprising, right? DeAndre Swift betting on himself. Are you guys concerned at all with DeAndre Swift's injury history, that he can stay healthy going forward?
Well, I am concerned because the next tweet I saw about DeAndre Swift says Swift back on the injury report, ankle limited.
Right.
So Swift is back on the injury report. Hopefully it means nothing, but with how they've used him in the past, when he's been on the injury report, it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence for that to happen on Wednesday. I'm nervous. That's what made me nervous. Whenever I saw that quote, I was like, oh, hell yeah. Big game. He's saying, I never lost it. We're ready to rock. And then I immediately see back on injury report, ankle limited.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's injury prone. It's like, it's hard to say that it's a real thing, but there are a number of guys who have just never played a full season, right? You go back and look at Arian Foster, like clearly he had some recurring injury issues, but like Dalvin Cook's never played every game. Leonard Fournette's never played every game. James Conner, Josh Jacobs, like, that's what happens when you're a running back. That's why people go 0 RB. Like there's a number of running backs that have legit never made it through a full season without missing games. And DeAndre Swift is on that list now too, right?
Unfortunately.
So, but the thing is, he's too awesome to not pick him in fantasy football. So what are you going to do?
He's one of those guys that's got number 1 overall RB upside with his skill set, right? Maybe Jamal Williams is a limiting factor now, but he's got the skill set to be a 3-down back, which is what you need to possibly finish number 1 overall.
It feels like him getting injured again this year might be a turning point for fantasy managers. Do you guys think he'll still be drafted as a top option here, like in that maybe first and second round? Or do you think that he'll fall next year?
I think it depends how he finishes this year out. Know what I mean? Like if this is nothing and he's back out there and we see more of what we saw last week, he's playing more snaps, he's getting more touches, he's more involved in the receiving game than Jamal Williams. Like if we get 3 more top 12 RB performances, you bet your bottom people will draft him early.
I'll bet my bottom.
If we get more of what we've gotten prior to last week, more of this, he's on the field, but he's not the lead back, we're using him conservatively, that'll stick in fantasy managers' minds, and he'll drop into the 3rd, 4th round probably.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, like, I'll be drafting him because a couple years ago we did that with Dalvin Cook, where we were like, oh, the guy gets hurt every year. So he got, he was a 2nd round pick or late second, early 3rd round pick, and then he scored 17 touchdowns, right? And if you had him, you steamrolled. So
right.
I'm still drafting those guys. I care about upside in that range. In the 1st or 2nd round, I'm trying to find the guy that could be the number 1 flex player in all of fantasy, and I think DeAndre Swift has that in his range of outcomes.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the Lions look like next year too, because I do think that Dan Campbell's making good moves, that he's building this team up, and that we'll start to see a turnaround here.
No, I'm with you. I honestly think these Lions have no right having 5 wins based on the team. Like I know their offense is good, but this team is Coop, you've talked about it. They stripped this team to the best of their ability to try to get some of those comp draft picks. The defense is the worst in the league, and they've won 5 games, and they're favorites against the Vikings this weekend. Like it's
this is how you rebuild. This is what a rebuild looks like.
Yes, and the thing is, you can trust that because the GM was there for the rebuild for the team that just won the Super Bowl last year. Brad Holmes was the head scout for the Rams when they went when they won 4 games, and then the next season they went and grabbed Andrew Whitworth, all these pieces, and then they went to the Super Bowl, lost to the Patriots, but then they came back around, won it. Like he was there for that rebuild. He knows what it takes. So he went, got the complex, built the team the right way from the inside out, right? So you look at it and they're using all their draft picks on guys like Penei Sewell, Frank Ragnow out of Arkansas, Aiden Hutchinson. Like these are the guys you get now because you can go out and get those hired gun pieces later, right? You can go out and get, as sad as it is, running back should be the last piece you add. They can go out and get a running back later when they're really competing and need to, right? DeAndre Swift was drafted because Matt Patricia was, trying not to get pushed over the edge of a cliff and was just trying to do anything he can to win like one more game, which is why he drafted running back so high. But like everything else this team has done is they're drafting from the inside out. The one odd move was the trading of TJ Hawkinson, but if they weren't going to sign him, then they weren't going to sign him. So they had to get something for him. But I thought that was a little odd because he's such a good young piece and tight ends can be productive for a long time. So I thought that was a little weird, but the rest of it, I like it.
Yeah, that is a good point. I don't know that I can fully break down the reasoning of that either. The only thing I can really think of is that maybe they're a little bit farther from the rebuild, like not as far along as they hope, and they think it's going to take a little longer, and they want to save money. But I still think that your reasoning there at the end, Coop, makes kind of takes a little bit of a fire from that theory.
I'm sure it's money. Right? I'm sure they had talks with TJ Hawkinson, and they were just farther apart on what it was going to take.
Yeah.
Next year's his last year under contract, his 5th year option. So they probably just figured out that they weren't gonna pay him.
Yeah, maybe TJ. I forget what they got in the trade, but maybe TJ Hawkinson was worth whatever it was. They got back.
Exactly, and we've seen that before, and we've seen it work out for both teams. The Patriots, Bill Belichick realized he wasn't going to trade Chandler Jones with 1 year left, and he traded him away to the Cardinals. And Chandler Jones came out and had like 16 sacks. But the Patriots won the Super Bowl. So I guess that works out fine for both teams. Like if you're not going to pay him, trade him now.
Yeah. So the TJ Hawkinson's going to have 16 sacks and the Lions are going to win the Super Bowls.
I mean,
could you imagine?
Like I said,
the Super Bowls.
I've seen it before.
I've seen it too. They traded in division too. That's an odd part about it. Lions received a 2023 second-round pick and a 2024 third-round pick.
See, that's pretty damn good compensation for a single player, right? I feel like
Vikings got a 2023 4th-round pick and a conditional 2024 4th-round pick along with Hawkinson.
Okay, so less juicy, but still a second-round pick has some serious value. You're pretty excited about getting that second-round pick.
Yeah.
Coop, you said Matt Patricia, and it made me think of something I was thinking about yesterday. What's up with Belichick and Saban being like the school of failed head coaches? Like both of these guys known for being the top of their game in their respective divisions, right? Nick Saban, college football, Belichick up here. It seems like they take failed head coaches from either NFL teams for Belichick or college teams for Saban and then bring them on and like, okay, you're the guy now. Like it's like a rehabilitation for head coaches who couldn't quite get it done good.
And Saban and Belichick are both like best good friends too. Like they are good buddies. I think they have like an agreement not to poach like coaches from each other too at the time. Because
you mentioned that yesterday.
Yeah,
interesting. Well, I never heard that.
There's been rumors about how they they're very close, and that's why you see so many Alabama guys getting drafted by the Patriots. And that's why my opinion on Mac Jones during the draft, I was like, if the Patriots don't draft Mac Jones, then nobody will. Because that means Saban must have said something to Belichick that makes you not interested. But I mean, a lot of the guys they do draft from Alabama end up being hits. Mac Jones, Christian Barmore. So, clearly those guys are having some conversations. But yeah, you're right. The Patriots and Belichick's always been that guy where he's like, you're going to discard this guy. We'll take him and see what we can figure out. It worked with Randy Moss. It didn't work with Marvin Harrison and Chad Johnson and Joe Horn and every other old wide receiver, Reggie Wayne, all these guys they brought in late, but he just seems to be that guy to try to say like, you discarded this player and we're going to find something in him. So
I guess he does it with coaches as well. Your ex-head coach is my offensive coordinator.
Can't wait. I really, if the Raiders could just go ahead and fire Josh McDaniel now so we could have him back, that would be great.
The boys are back together.
Send them on back. Send them home.
Saw a quote yesterday from Zach Taylor. He was asked about the Samaje Perine, Joe Mixon situation, and he had many great things to say about what Samaje Perine has done in Joe Mixon's absence. But then he said, Joe Mixon is our starting running back. He had 5 touchdowns the last time he played. Like, he's like, just remind people, like, I know this has been great, but like, slow down. Joe Mixon is a phenomenal player. So that was relieving to hear that if you're a Joe Mixon fantasy manager. Maybe not what you wanted to hear if Samaje Perine has helped carry you into the playoffs down the stretch here this season, but it's expected.
Yeah.
Yeah, Perine. I know. That's the disappointing thing about the world of backup running backs and handcuff running backs. It happens with Alexander Madison every time, where you're like, yes, I did it. I handcuffed and it worked. And then he goes right back to the bench and you're like, ah.
And they were doing with Khalil Herbert earlier this year as well. He comes out there, kills it. David Montgomery's back, and we're like, surely Khalil Herbert's earned a role in this offense. David Montgomery, 19 carries, Khalil Herbert, 3. Like something preposterous like that.
Yeah, we know what Samaje Perine is, right? Like he looks good. He's not a starting running back. We've seen it in his career a bunch of times. I think he's fine. I think he's a really good backup. On the waiver wire Q&A stream with JJ this week, he mentioned how JJ Zach Reason, he mentioned how Samaje Perine, he thinks next year he'll be drafted along with the likes of like Alexander Madison in fantasy, where people are really hopeful in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, one of those like must draft backup guys. There's not
high
many
value backups, yeah.
But there's some of them. Whenever you know the situation is clear behind a player. And with what Samaje Perine has done, and with all the great things Zach Taylor said about him, I think that's going to have to be the case.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You guys like drafting backup running backs in draft season, even other people's backups?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, me neither.
Nope. I got to have some sort of standalone value. I need those handcuff pluses.
Yeah, in the
Maybe
beginning of
Jay
the
Dillon.
season, you need that. There's just, there's so much variability. You don't know who's going to be starting, who's not, where we don't have much data. And then the season starts and we get a bunch of data, right? And it starts to become clear, the picture of all these players. So it's less important to have insurance in the beginning of the season. You kind of want to have way more risk than insurance.
Scott Fish in here was coming in saying, I'm fine with the Hawk pick, and he's a Vikings fan. Said 2nd and 3rd for Hawk and 2 4ths. Downgraded 2 rounds next year and 1 round in 2024. We needed another pass catcher with Thielen on the decline. Granted, the 4th becomes a 5th if the Vikes win a playoff game. So obviously he hopes it becomes a 5th because he wants the Vikings to win a playoff game. But yeah, I don't think that's a bad trade for either side there. And Coop, I'm sure it has to do with what you were saying, that it has to do with money. They just didn't want to pay him what he wanted to get paid.
Yeah. I think that's got to be it, dude. And look at Scott. You have some confidence. He's like, if they win a playoff game, it becomes a conditional pick. How about when they win a playoff game, Scott? Step up for the boys. Let's go, dude.
Let's go.
Let's go. We also had a question from Spooky Season in here. Said, do you guys think Lamar is going to get paid by the Ravens? I'm feeling like his time there is done and he'll leave for Detroit or Atlanta. JL, you got boots on the ground in Baltimore. The inside scoop. You've been speaking to the rats on the streets.
The rats on the streets tell me everything, all of your secrets. I think Lamar is going to get paid. I think the Ravens are going to pay him because they don't really have another option. They don't have a backup plan. This team is built for Lamar. And so, yeah, I think the money will come. I think we'll see it sometime in the offseason.
We got Goose Monkey in the chat saying, look at all these neck beards. How's your mom's basement, boys? First of all,
Pretty good.
Neck beard, bro. I'm looking clean. I'm looking clean as hell.
Ma,
I got a bit of a neck beard.
bring down some Kool-Aid.
Wake up, bro. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, what we're doing, because we have a show. Is that upsetting you enough to spend your morning being all cry baby on YouTube comments? What are you doing this morning, dude? What are you up to this morning?
Yeah,
Thanks for joining the show. Hey, thanks for joining the show.
Where you at?
Thanks for providing some content.
He's your mom's
He's in homeroom.
Like, he looks around. Yeah,
he's in homeroom with his homeroom teacher telling him to put his cell phone away.
Doing this maneuver where he's trying to text in the pocket.
Oh,
Someone in the
good.
hotel room next to me just heard me say, "Ma, bring me Kool-Aid."
But Goose Monkey, I hope you're having a good day. I apologize if something put you in a sour mood this morning, made you come in here and try to spread some negativity. But we are all about positivity. And if you want to stay hanging out, then stay hanging out with us. And hopefully you change that attitude a little bit.
That's right, dude. And plus, for the record, dude, I'm in my grandma's basement, okay?
Yeah. Don't be ridiculous.
Unbelievable. Have some respect. Shut up, dude.
Shut up.
Have a little respect.
He said my neighbors think he's got some kinky stuff going on. Kinky foreplay going on. I'm knocking. Are you okay?
Some Kool-Aid. Speaking of Joe Mixon and Samaje Perine, we did see a report that Mixon is a full practice on Wednesday. So he's back and he's ready to go. He's back and he's going to be the full-time starter. So to just put a nice little cherry on top of that story is done, and we're going to see Mixon back. Any reservations about starting him, guys?
Nope. He's back. I'm starting him.
Fact.
Let's do it.
We've made that mistake for too many times, dude. We just talked about it they said Josh Jacobs would be limited. He was not. He was amazing. They said Marquise Brown would be limited. He played every snap except 2.
Jamar Chase.
Again. Yeah, Jamar Chase. Awesome. I'm going to start him because he's a good football player.
And he's playing the Browns.
He's
playing the Browns. He's got an incredible matchup.
Browns.
Yeah. At home against the Browns. And they're favored. And it's a 47.5 point over under. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is that going to be a fun game? I can't decide. If that's going to be a fun game. There's a lot of signs pointing to yes, but part of me just feels like the Bengals are just gonna wallop the Browns.
They might. I think the Browns will be fine. I don't think they're going to be. I mean, they were fine last week too. They weren't bad, but I think their offense will be able to figure it out.
Yeah, I want to see Deshaun Watson do something. Is David Njoku? What's the latest on him? He's going to play this week, right? That was the last I heard, but I didn't see if he practiced yesterday. A little peeksy. Yeah, looks like he's back in practice. He's ready to play. So they're going to have the full slate of weapons ready to rock over there.
Are you starting David Njoku his first week back?
I don't know.
Probably not.
I think I would over certain, like if I have, there's certain matchups that I really like this week. Like I really like Hunter Henry against the Cardinals. He's coming off back-to-back five target weeks, which is nice for him.
You start him over Njoku?
I think I do, but that's like right where I draw the line. Like
what about Freiermuth?
Freiermuth is must start pretty much every week, man. He's at this point, he's getting the target share, even if his quarterback is kind of allergic to touchdowns. Has only 2 touchdowns over the last 5 weeks, which is not super cool for fantasy football. But Freiermuth is he's so dialed in that you have to start him every week. It's like there's 4 guys I'm just going to start every week, no matter what, for the rest of the season if I have them, which is Kelsey, Andrews, Freiermuth, Hawkinson. Everybody else, I'll consider matchups. You know, Schultz is pretty close, but I'll still consider if I can avoid that Eagles matchup he has week 16, then I would do it. But beyond that, those guys are pretty much locked in for me. Everybody else, I'm playing the matchups. You know,
my boy Kittle, he's been relegated.
Yeah, he has been because his quarterback was the last pick in the draft. So I'm going to have my rankings out today for tight end for this week. This week specific, I'm going to have my DFS picks out today. Those are behind the paywall, but if you ask me nicely, I might tell you a few of them. And then we're just going to dominate another week at tight end, dude. Last week we had Dulcich, Cole Kmet, Evan Ingram. They said, you're stupid for ranking those guys high. And I said, no, you're stupid.
What did they say back?
And who had, yeah.
They had nothing to say, my boys. They had nothing to say.
Left them speechless. Let's go.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That's how it went down in my head. And actually, on Reddit, they were just like, on Reddit, what they do is they go through your post history for like a full 10 hours. They just comb through and then they come back and they're like, weren't you the guy that said Amon-Ra St. Brown sucks? And I'm like, yeah, I was that guy. Thank you.
Yeah, damn right.
I'm like, how far did you just scroll? Like, come on.
Like, I remember.
Right. Yeah, I remember, dude.
I see that all the time in
they're just like
subreddits. They use the remind me bot all the time with anybody's take. They're like, oh, I know what'll show this guy in 6 months when it doesn't come true. I'm going to come back and remind him how stupid he is.
Exactly.
Idiot.
Or
it'll be the end of an argument. Just like exclamation point, remind me.
Yeah, they'll go in your history and they'll be like, "Why don't you go talk about flashlights more on the flashlight subreddit?"
Yeah,
Like,
you nerd.
And then I'll be
Shave
back
your
here
neck
to tell you
beard with that
more
flashlight?
about.
Exactly, dude, in your mom's basement. Yeah, like, dude, that doesn't offend me, dude. I've been on Reddit for a decade, dog. I have
I've been in
there's
my
an
mom's
ice box.
basement my whole life.
There's an ice box where my heart used to be.
It's beautiful, beautiful
That
words.
reminded me of one of my favorite Zach Fox bits of all time, where he just riffs on that song, just replaces what his heart used to be every time.
That one dude. There's a sandwich where my heart used to be. The guy that eats sandwiches every meal.
Albert wants to know if we would trust Waller in the fantasy playoffs. Mr. Tight End Tinkler, are you trusting Darren Waller in your playoffs?
Again, it's like when you deal with tight end, they are these like, it's like, picture like plateaus, like Kelsey's at the top of the mountain, and then there's like cliffs each step of the way where you just start, you hit the cliff and you just start saying, why not? Right? Like you get past that next crew, and I'm just like, Hunter Henry, good matchup, even though he's had some terrible weeks, why not? And then you get past that cliff, and I'm like, Taysom Hill, I don't know. Some of these other guys aren't doing anything. Might as well. Why not? Right? Like Darren Waller is definitely for me going to be a why not type play. The problem is if he comes back next week, he faces Kyle Duggar. Terrible matchup. Then he gets the Steelers. That's an okay matchup. Then he gets the 49ers. Another terrible matchup. So just like Dallas Goedert coming back, terrible schedule, dude. So if you're going to do that, you just know what you're risking. Just know what you're putting on the line. It's just like starting Taysom Hill. Just you're chasing that touchdown. Just know that he could score 1 point.
Scott Fish in here says, I'm in a league with Darren Waller. Should I ask him for an update in the chat? Yeah, if you could ask Darren Waller directly for an update, that would be fantastic.
How many leagues with NFL players are you in? I know you're in that other one with running back. Now I forget which one. Scott, you were too cool. You're in a league with Des Bryant. That you like. I was so sad I didn't get in that league. I like
sleeping league.
The XFT league. Yeah, I like messaged Scott and I was like, I didn't get in.
No,
it was like I was like crying out for help. I was like, sneak me into the league, Scott. Next year I need to be in that league. Like, Scott, sneak me in. Next year I'm getting in.
Tommy said, I would love to know if he's back tonight, Waller and Renfro. I don't think we're going to see Waller tonight. This was the first week he could have come back, but I don't think we're going to see him. I don't know about Renfro. I haven't seen as many updates about him, but it seems unlikely we see Waller.
Yeah, I think Waller, the latest we have here is he did report that he's likely to be back next week. So I don't think he is coming back this week.
Scott, yeah, I was thinking AJ Dillon. You're also in a league with Tyler Algier.
Tyler Algier is a sleeper one.
That's like which running back? I'm in so many, dude. Unbelievable, dude. This guy, dude. Unbelievable.
This guy.
And Spooky in here saying Waller's good next week, I saw. So agreeing with what you were saying there, JL. We got Dustin in the chat saying, what's up, everyone? What's up, Dustin?
Good morning.
How can that goose guy call us neckbeards and losers when we're friends with Scott Fish, who's like a legit celebrity? Also
a neckbeard and a loser.
Who's also a huge neckbeard and a loser. Yeah. Right, dude? It's
boom! Like, roasted!
Yeah, dude. Welcome to the chat, bro.
Guys, coming up on today's show, we got a special guest joining us very shortly. We're going to play some Quotey McQuote Face, and then we've got our Spielberg movie bracket, along with some Thursday night football predictions. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Live with Lisa Ann and Rick Kamla. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Obviously, you've got a couple identities here, right? And so, Lisa Ann's here. Let's talk sports. Let's talk fantasy. What about my team? What do you think about my team? Like, that's dope, man. Like that brand you have built here is huge. And over in Switzerland, you're a big deal in Switzerland. Of course you are.
Very in Europe, all over Europe. But when I was at the Jersey show like 2 or 3 weekends ago, my security was shocked because every other guy legit handed me his phone and said, yo, Lise, can you check my lineup? can you look on the waiver wire? I got bye weeks coming up. You're right. It's really neat how my worlds have become just this synergy between, me being me and then me reaching out to all of these different people and having this common ground that now it's like we're kind of bros when we talk about sports, right? We're just friends. We're all sharing the same heartbreak or pain. Sports is the international language.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Probably every team knows that inking starting pitchers to big deals and big money agreements is bad business. But that's the business they're in. What else are they going to do? That's what it costs to play the game. And all these pitchers realize it. I'd like to sit here and say, well, you should develop your own pitching. You should never pay these guys $25 million a year. But Ray, I don't think teams can do that. It's like the pitchers have a lot of power despite their weaknesses and despite their fragility. They still have so much control over the purse strings of these teams and these GMs and these owners. They don't care, Ray. They're seeing the same numbers we are. They know Jake DeGrom. If they sign him, you pray for 130 innings. Every team knows that, Ray. They may say something different, but they know what's going on. And Ray, it won't stop them. I mean, what do you think DeGrom gets in free agency this year?
I think he'll get 4 or 5 years, and he'll get 35 a year each, right? Paying $20 million for Drew Smyly is stupid. Paying $200 million for DeGrom is idiotic, in my opinion. Jacob DeGrom has had 14 injuries the last 2 years. Every part of his body, it's just, and he's phenomenal. But you can't be locked in. If DeGrom makes 25 starts, 26 starts, if he throws 150 innings, you could win your division. You could win the World Series. I get it. But if he does the other thing, which is what he's done the last couple of years, your team is so hamstrung. Unless you're one of 2 or 3 teams, you can't spend your way out of that.
However you're invested in sports, from betting to fantasy, collectibles, and more, join our community on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Joining the show right now, we've got a special guest, member of the BSN family, and the man with the rhymes in the chat, creator of Hogger. We've got Tommy coming up with us. He's got a special announcement. I'm excited to hear what he's got to say, guys. What's up, Tommy? Welcome in, my friend.
Yo, boys. Time for the show.
Yeah. Oh, we got one live.
Hey.
Give us your best hey, Tommy.
Hey.
Oh, there we go.
Eat a tomato, Tommy.
You couldn't resist coming on the night of a Raiders game, could you? Thursday night, you beat the Raiders in prime time. You had to be up here.
I got the shrine ready. I got the Rams versus the Raiders right there, ready to roll.
The applicable helmets, dude. That is impressive, man.
That's it, baby. And classic running backs, man. I got Bo versus Eric Dickerson. So we'll see who wins the matchup tonight.
Beautiful.
I got Bo winning that matchup. Tommy, I was told you have an announcement for us that you wanted to make about BSN. Something exciting going on?
Yeah. So super exciting, guys. So if you all remember, way back when, you guys destroyed the fun button, right? You broke it. They smashed it. It was kaput.
I believe it's still our Twitter banner. And the scoop telling us how we broke the fun button.
Oh, yeah.
So the good news is it's back. The fun button is back, baby.
Let's go.
Smash that fun button.
Smash it up.
Smash it away.
With unlimited smashes? Unlimited smashes?
Unlimited smashes. And even better, producer Keith is going to key up a box break today. So we're going back to the box break. He's going to hit the fun button when I have a contest, and boom, box break.
Let's go, dude. When are we
doing that? We doing that right now? Is that what's going on?
I'm going to let Keith make that call. So I'll let him call that in your ear, Simon. Whenever you guys are ready to roll, we can roll.
Get in the game.
There it is. We've got it right now. So guys, hit that fun button. Whoever hits it, we're going to have some lucky person who hits the fun button win this prize right here. A Better Sports Network hoodie is what we're giving away today, guys. Some nice swag. Man, that's clean. A nice clean hoodie right there.
So we
figured
pick a number, or who like what number for the fun button? What number smash?
Tommy,
I
we'll
think
let you
Keith's gonna pick a secret number in the back so nobody knows, and we're just gonna let people smash it. until
Smash
somebody
away,
wins.
dude, and somebody will pick it. Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, wait, why don't I have a Better Sports Network sweatshirt yet?
Coop, get in the app and start hitting the fun button, and you might be the
I'm
winner.
getting it right now, dude. But what the
They're
heck,
on the
Tommy?
way, man.
Since when do we
I've
have
been
this?
busy, dude. I've been busy, man.
I know you.
what I mean?
Have,
It's
dude.
like
I know you.
I'm building.
You still have
hunger.
time. You still have time to text me tomato emojis every Sunday.
wait. Even better
He's
than
like,
that.
"You got
Even
plenty
better
of
than
time."
that. I've been busy, man. I've been busy.
Oh my god, that is
That's my baby.
That
Or
is
should I say your baby?
disgusting, bro.
You gonna ship it to him
Get
to
ready,
eat?
Coop.
Damn, why is that thing so
yeah,
big,
baby.
bro?
Oh, and it's just gonna get bigger. That thing, that's still on the vine. That baby's growing.
How do you just grow a single tomato like a pumpkin? Like I didn't even know you could do that.
Jersey has a way to do everything.
Yeah, you're a master,
So
bro.
who we liking tonight, boys? Who we liking?
Raiders and the Rams. Sorry, Auntie Coop. But your Rams stink, and it's not your fault. You're missing your quarterback. You're missing Cooper Kupp. You're missing, your most important pieces. Aaron Donald's been banged up. Is Donald going to play?
I think he's out.
Yeah. So there you go, dude. That's gonna stink. I think we have a winner for the contest.
We do. Maria in the chat has been the winner of our contest. Shout out, Maria. Gonna win that Better Sports Network hoodie. That should be coming your way in the mail in not too long. Hope you enjoy it.
Hoodie, bro.
What a great choice, dude.
What a great choice.
We figured we start off with a Better Sports sweatshirt, and then we'll roll back into the collectibles again. So we got more jerseys coming your way. We got helmets. We got signed stuff out the wazoo.
Maseratis.
Dude, give me
Maseratis.
Give me a
Let's go.
sweatshirt, bro. I don't care about the jerseys. Like, that sweatshirt look dope, dude. I want one of those.
All right. I'll tell you what. Give me your sizes, all three of you, and we'll send them on the way.
Yeah, we all win. Dude, I'll wear it on my other shows, dude. I got shows Monday night, Besties, Wednesday
That was
night,
really easy to
lightning
convince
rounds.
Tommy to do that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Tommy,
what
will
else
that
could we
work?
get Tommy to do?
Well, I was gonna say,
I'm a
if
pushover,
I just
man.
ask nicely enough, will that Montana jersey show up in my mailbox at a certain point? Like, come on, I just need a Montana jersey. Just send it to me.
Nah.
Yeah.
I'll
I
grow
get
you
it.
another tomato if you want.
If I could have anything from Tommy's collection of stuff, I have got a quick tour, dude. I would want one of those virtual reality paintings that you have, dude, that are those things that you've made. You made those, right?
Yeah. Thank you, brother.
You made these virtual reality paintings that when you like pull up this app and put it over the painting, it like comes alive, dude, and gives you like it's
Ooh,
like
that's
the
dope.
coolest thing I've ever seen. Man. Yeah, that could be revolutionary stuff right there. You got your hands on, Tommy. So if I could pick
Cool.
anything, it would be that for sure.
We got some big things coming, actually.
Yeah,
now that you
yeah,
just
yeah,
mentioned that. So you're right. I did start out. I did a Jimi Hendrix painting. I did a Freddie Mercury painting, and those come to life. So you hold your camera over it, and Freddie Mercury actually sings. So
Yeah,
really, really
it's
cool.
Crazy. Bro. It is
Why did my mind
crazy,
immediately
dude.
imagine that
So
there's
now I
just like a
started
blank
thinking, right?
canvas on Tommy's wall, and you pull up the phone, it's just like a self-portrait of him nude.
That's in the bedroom, dude.
Nude, but with the jersey. Just the jersey.
Of course.
Yeah, Pooh
Just-
Bear in it with the Raiders jersey.
Yeah. So real quick, so we got the jersey, we got the paintings that we're working on, but the next phase is virtual reality trading cards. So first look ever right here on FYF, right? So here's a little shot. Here's a little Devontae Adams, if you can see that.
Very nice.
Right. And then
Very
what I'll do
nice.
is I'll come around next show. I'll let you guys scan it, and I'll show you how he comes to life. His stats come to life. Pretty cool. And I've even
It's
working
lit.
on a very respect. Do you know who that is?
Evan Ingram, let's go.
The Coop card.
Touchdown.
Evan
We're back,
Ingram.
baby. Dude, I'm telling you, he's gonna climb his way up to the top 12. You heard it here. He's gonna be a tight end 1 this year, and then everyone is gonna have to go jump in a lake because, I mean, he was tight end 20 off the board, so we're already kind of playing with house money. But if he can finish as a tight end 1 after being disrespected like that, ooh boy, those Reddit boys are gonna catch a whooping from me.
That's Reddit boy. You said Coop card, and that just made me think we got to get some trading cards of us. We got to get some FYF trading cards. Get a little Joey in there. He's got little stats on the back.
Joey, I think Joey in the chat. Any finger traps, Tommy? We got any finger traps in the work? FYF finger traps. It's
That I'm not working on. I leave that to you, Coop. You're the
all
pro.
right, all right, yeah. I'll get my people on it.
Virtual reality finger traps.
That'd be terrifying.
Where you pull your camera out and it turns into a hot dog that slowly starts getting eaten by someone else.
Sam first came in with a question. Tommy, maybe you can help us out with this one. He said, injuries and buys killing me this week. Start Huntley, Mack, or Tannehill. So we'll start with that one because he has a follow-up here. But are you starting Tyler Huntley, Mac Jones, or Ryan Tannehill this week?
Oof. That's a tough choice.
So here's what you got for matchups, Tommy. You got Tyler Huntley going against the Steelers. That's a 36.5 point over under. Steelers are slightly favored. You got Mac Jones going into Arizona. That's 44.5 point over under. Cardinals favored by 1.5. Then you got Ryan Tannehill will be playing at home. Jaguars coming to town. 41.5 point over under. So all fairly low over unders. Titans are favored by 3.5.
That's a tough one. That's a really, really tough one, man. I think I'm going to have to lean. Mac, Coop. I'm going to make you happy here. You know, I mean, the Arizona, and it looks like a high scoring game. I know the line isn't that high, but I could see that being a shootout and Mac Jones airing it out.
Yeah. And the thing is, I usually personally steer away from the Patriots because they spread the ball out and stuff. But I mean, you got the highest over under of any of those games. And the one for the Baltimore 36.5. That's matching the lowest we've seen all year. And then this game is also on Monday night. So it gives Jacoby Myers a little banged up, gives him a little time to potentially get healthy and be available for that game. If Jacoby Myers gets ruled out, maybe you go Tannehill, but they're dealing with injuries of their own, and that could be a run heavy game. So I'm with you. I like Mac in that situation. Plus Monday night games are fun.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm going to go Tannehill on this one. In terms of just like safety between Mac Jones and Ryan Tannehill, I'd rather just get Tannehill. They kind of are the same type of fantasy player to me in the sense that they're not going to be high upside guys. They're more safe floor guys. And then Tyler Huntley scares me. I don't know, man. I'm worried about starting him this week. I want to see it. Even though it's a nice matchup for him, he looked not very good last week.
I'm going to roll Mac Jones as well. I thought I was going to be the only one on the Mac Jones side. Because, Scoop, you're right. You usually steer away from those Patriots quarterbacks. But we're sitting here with 3 Mac Jones. These are all really close guys, though. They're in that like high-end QB2 range, all of them for me this week. Outside that top 12, but if they have a good game, they could crack it. Was there a follow-up part to that question, Jo?
Yes, I forgot, though.
I got it right here.
Follow-up was also start to flex 1 PPR. Hollywood Brown, Deontay Johnson, Rashad White, or Deonta Foreman.
So really one of those guys is hitting the bench because they need to start 3 of those players. And who do the Panthers have this week again? Because that is a big factor for Deonta Foreman.
It's the Seahawks in Seattle.
Seahawks. It's fine. I'm probably benching Deontay Johnson out of that bunch. It's probably
crazy as it sounds, right?
Yeah.
As crazy as it sounds, right? Before the season, he wouldn't even be in this question, but I think that's probably right, man. He's been pretty brutal with Pickett.
What about you, Tommy?
Rashad White has a terrible matchup. He has to go into San Fran to play the 49ers, and Leonard Fournette played more snaps than him.
Yeah, and Leonard Fournette is back, healthy, playing. So I was going to bring that up, Coop. I think that is a good call out here. I think I'd be benching Rashad White.
I think I'm there with you. I agree.
Yeah.
Tommy, you benching Rashad White, or which way are you rolling here?
I think I got to make it unanimous. He looks unbelievable, but I think Fournette's going to gobble up some carries there at the goal line.
There we go. They got 3 Rashad Whites, and I'm benching Deontay Johnson, but those 2 guys are super close.
Yeah, close.
Tommy, I brought up that Montana jersey behind you, and in case people listening didn't know, I just did want to bring up that the Better Sports Shop is live now, and I know you got that rolling together. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Because I'm just scrolling right now, and holy cow, the amount of jerseys and mini helmets just sitting here. I see a Josh Gordon Browns jersey. I have such a love for that man. For $50 sitting right here, an autographed Gordon Browns jersey, I might just buy that right here on the show.
Yeah, we've been working hard, right? So I've been working with all my guys, sourcing some great collectibles for the Better Sports crew. We've got close to 600 items in there now. There's going to be close to 1,500 items by the time we're done. And it's not just football. We've got football, we got baseball, we got basketball. We even got some movie stuff. So we've got like a Wild Thing, Charlie Sheen autograph jersey. It's sweet. It's fire, man. So I think I got to get myself one of those. But yeah, there's so many cool things. So check it out. We're going to be constantly adding more and giving you guys great breaks. You're going to see in there right now, everything is marked down already. So go in and you're going to get a great deal. Like if you want a Josh Gordon jersey and that's your thing, like Simon, go ahead and grab it, man. It's nice and cheap. So makes a great Christmas gift for somebody.
Devin Hester.
Yeah, we could just, the whole time I was scrolling, I just kept wanting to say Hines Ward. Like just you just keep scrolling, you see more and more names of players that you like. Yeah, so guys, check it out. If you're in the market for a jersey, if you're looking for a Christmas present for a sports fan that you like, this bettersports.com. Check out the shop. We got all sorts of cool stuff over there. Thanks, Tommy, for getting that running.
No problem. I have one question for you guys. So, JL, you brought up a perfect point. I think it's a great idea is to do these trading cards for the Front Yard Fantasy crew. So, if yours came to life, what would the animation be?
Ooh.
Mine would be easy, dude.
Yeah, mine would be easy too.
Komodo dragon.
The
Komodo dragon, easy.
The Komodo dragon.
Can you add sound?
Is this a 4D experience?
Because I think the only thing that it could do is my Chewbacca sound plus face right there is where it's just like from the shoulders up. And it's that little
it would be the
deep
Chewbacca
face
for sure. Yeah,
without a doubt.
I would buy that card day one. That would be.
Yeah,
that would
same.
be. I would definitely own that card.
First edition.
All right, so I'll tell you what. I'm gonna finish taking care of my tomato here. I got to give it a little spritz for tonight and talk to it a little bit. So it's nice and big for Coop, and then I'll get working on those cards for you guys. How's that
Beautiful,
Hell yeah.
Tommy.
Tommy.
Thanks so much for joining us up here today, my man. Go Raiders.
Cool, brothers. Oi, hey, oi.
Go Rams.
Hey, talk to you later,
Hey.
Tommy.
Go Rams. Okay, let's not get crazy.
JL's hotel neighbor is even more confused.
Yeah.
Dale, what could you say right now that would confuse your hotel neighbor the most?
I don't know.
Yeah, you said quite a few weird things earlier.
Dale, can you say loudly, get that peanut butter out of there?
Get that peanut butter out of there.
Before the show, you said multiple times, "Pa, my meat's flipped."
my meat's flipped. You said that multiple times.
I know, but I'm not in the hotel. I'm in my house. Dude. The only one here with me.
Your wife is used to you saying that.
Yeah, my dog Lufa's like, the meat's flipped.
Yeah,
I need to get some.
Also, Spooky, I know you're saying that in jest, but let's just remember with the comments to make sure we're being respectful of all the hosts that are here on BSN. We got a bunch of talented people, so let's make sure we're treating each and every one of them with respect. Dustin over here saying, give them a peach to the Deej really loud.
Like we said, respect.
Jail Street.
Follow that up immediately with a peach to the Deej.
Follow immediately with the peach to the Deej, dude.
Guys, coming up, we've got some Quotey McQuote Face that we are going to play. We've got our Steven Spielberg bracket and some Thursday night football predictions as well. So make sure you're sticking around here on Better Sports Network. This is the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got hurt.
Body didn't change.
We'll never know that for sure either.
No, dude.
We've seen guys who were not big take substances.
That's true.
To get busted. So it's not about that, always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, there was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. He made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, was there besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever from defensively to hitting his swing. And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he finished with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey, and it's a shame though that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
And he finished with 40 homers in 111 games that year, man. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, you know, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that, all those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man.
Yeah.
So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw Barry Bonds just get better with age, and we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 31, he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15. To his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I see Jay in the chat saying, are these the guys from the Hogger game? We are the guys from the Hogger game. And guys, we have a new game. It is called Hogger. You've heard of Frogger, but this is Hogger, featuring myself, JL, and Coop. If you visit bettersports.com/Hogger on your desktop computer, use the arrow keys to guide us to safety. Tweet a screenshot of your high score at Better Network. So at Better Network on Twitter for a chance to win a signed mystery jersey. We're going to be giving that away on Friday. So head to betternetwork.com/Hogger, and you can play as either myself, JL, or Coop, trying to avoid little hoggies as they cross the street. Get across as many times as you can. Take a screen. Score is going to win that mystery box on Friday. Man, Tommy messaged me like he said, wouldn't that be funny? And then it was reality, and then it existed.
Tommy's like that dude though that just makes things happen. Yeah, like I don't know where he procured that terrifying tomato from, but like Tommy, I feel like he's capable of doing whatever he wants over there.
Also, guys, if you have questions, make sure you're throwing them in the chat. We are on the eve of Week 14. It kicks off tonight. These are important matchups. Either you're in your playoffs or you're getting ready for your playoffs. We'd love to help you out if you need some help. So throw those questions in the chat. We're heading over, call in, come up with us, ask them live here as well. We would love to answer them.
Yeah, jump in the chat, call us neckbeards, dude. See what happens.
See if that works for you.
That's what happens.
Where's that guy go, dude? Where'd you go? Huh?
Come back.
Come on back. A little drive-by. Yeah, a little drive-by trash talk, dude.
Spooky did have a question for us. He wants to know, do we think in 2 weeks will Kenneth Walker be fully healthy? Man, Spooky, I hope so. I really, really hope so. But I don't know. I think how much Kenneth Walker we see is going to depend on the success of the Seahawks team. If they're in the playoff hunt in 2 weeks and Kenneth Walker is good enough to play, healthy enough, and they need to win that game, I bet we see some Kenneth Walker out there.
Spooky sitting there with his team that has a bye week next week, and he's like asking for a friend. Doesn't need him this week, doesn't need him next week. He's like, what about 2 weeks from now?
Spooky's got that super team.
Yeah.
Spooky's got that super team sitting there on the bye already. But do you guys think Kenneth Walker is going to be good to go? You're holding on to him, obviously, in fantasy, right?
You got to hold on to him. Yeah. He's nursing that injury. It's information on it. He could be back as soon as this week, potentially. I don't expect that at all, but you got to hold on to him. In 2 weeks, I think it's definitely possible. It's definitely possible.
And even you got to understand that even the guys that we know that they work in the medical industry, the guys like, Jesse Mueller and Edwin Porras, like they're also still doing their best because you're not in that room diagnosing these guys. You don't get to see the x-rays and stuff. So they're doing their best, but from from what we've seen, there's a Edwin Porter said at worst it's a 2 to 4 week injury, which would line up with your timeline, right? On a jammed ankle, whatever that means.
Jammed ankle. That sounds incredibly painful just based on like a jammed thumb. You know what I mean? Like a jammed thumb hurts like the dickens. A jammed ankle, that's a lot to jam.
Jamming it all up, dude.
Jamming it all up.
Yeah. But the thing is, at first I was like, jammed ankle, that's not a thing. But then I watched the video and I was like, oh yeah, he jammed his ankle.
Undoubtedly, that is what happened.
I was like, that's not a thing, but it doesn't really roll. It does kind of jam. He's trying to stay in bounds and he just like stuck his foot in the ground and it just like, so I don't know.
That kind of move is how you survive if you fall out of a plane without a parachute. You know that?
Just jam your ankle.
Or like if your parachute
Oh,
doesn't
don't
open,
tell this. No, don't say this again.
It's important in case anybody finds themselves in this situation. I have to let the people know.
You know what? Simon didn't get to do his his Moreau yesterday. So give us a little quick Moreau on
here's a Moreau If you're skydiving and your parachute doesn't open, or you find yourself falling from a plane with no parachute for some reason, it happens. I hate when that happens. Here's what you do. First and foremost, if you see trees, aim for the trees. That sounds counterintuitive, but every branch, while it may break a bone, it will also slow you down about 10 miles per hour. Okay, so by the time you hit the ground, you're going to be going slow enough that you probably will survive. Now, there may not be any trees. It's just an open field. What do? You pull your knees up as close to your chest as possible and go down in a ball. And then right before you hit the ground, you fully extend and lock every bone in your body, with the goal being that every bone from your ankles up to your pelvis will shatter and create a bone basket for all of your organs, your vital organs that will help keep you alive into medical attention. So that is how you survive, is just fully extend, jam those ankles, and then it's going to create a nice little bone basket for all your organs.
He said a little bone basket. At that point, I am not looking for the trees. I am looking for the hardest pavement I can find that's going to put me out of my misery as quickly as possible.
According to Google,
I don't want to live like that.
According to Google, when the human body free falls at about 120 miles an hour. So you're going to need to hit how many branches for that to be a reasonable impact? You need to hit like 8 branches. You need like 8 branches, and then you're only hitting the ground at 40.
Going 40.
Yeah. You need to hit a minimum 10 branches, bro. Yeah.
You ever hit anything going 40 miles an hour? It sucks.
Yeah. 10.
Fall off a jet ski going 40 miles an hour, you're hurt.
Give me the pavement.
Joe, you bring up a good point with the jet ski. Do not aim for water. That is practically concrete whenever you're falling that fast. It's not going to go your way. Spooky said, are you speaking from experience? No, I am speaking from the ultimate survival guide that I bought from the book fair in elementary school. Without a doubt, that is my one and only source that I read that from. Maria in here saying WTF. Yeah, guys, I didn't say it was a pretty fact, but it's an important one. In case anyone ever finds themselves there, you're going to remember bone basket.
You bought, I was going to say, you bought a elementary kids book that used the words bone basket.
What the hell?
Yeah, the book fair got wild. I'm
about to buy this Steve Grogan jersey off the Better Network site. Do I get a discount?
Grogan?
Yeah.
There's already a discount built in there.
You get a plus 10%.
Steve Grogan.
You get taxed more.
Steve Grogan was basically Josh Allen before Josh Allen, except not as good. But he used to run a ton for a white dude. Like a ton.
Maria, and you're saying bone basket is going to haunt me. Yeah, it's not the best collection of words, but we've got some people who have better collections of words in our next game. Quotey McQuote Face.
Hey.
These collections of words, JL is going to read to us, and Coop and I are going to be responsible for identifying who said it and why they said it. If we correctly identify both, we are going to get 2 points. Miss either portion, and the opponent can steal by providing the proper context, the proper person, or both. We'll go like this for a couple rounds. Whoever has the most points, identifies the most quotes and context, is going to be our Quotey McQuote Face winner today.
I love this game. And Keith in the chat said the key is to not go skydiving, which is true.
Yeah, but it's
I'm
so
on board
much
with
fun.
that.
The first time I went skydiving, I was sitting there and we're in the plane. The scariest part's the plane, right? Because it's like a school bus that flies. Like there's nothing official about this airplane. You're sitting on like a hurdle seat. The door is a garage door that opens up and down in the back. And all of a sudden the plane starts like lurching down and I'm freaking out and I'm facing the back of the plane and I turn around and the friend that I had gone with sticks her head out of the cockpit and waves. She was flying the plane. Like they treat airplanes so casually. I guess because everyone has a parachute on. I don't know. But just the level of casualness with which like I turned around and my friend was just up there flying an airplane was like, oh, get me out of this airplane right now. Like
here's the thing. If I'm going skydiving, it's going to be tandem. And I'm going to use that person's legs as a bread basket. And they're going to save my life. And I'm just going to be like,
Jail, they are unclipping you if the parachute doesn't open.
Right. Dude, they're definitely steering, dude. So if anything, you're going to be...
I'm going to keep flipping us. I'm going to be like, no, you. No, you. All right, guys. Let's get into our game of Quotey McQuote Face. I have randomly decided the order. And Simon, you will be starting first this game. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
It is what it is. All right, here is your first quote.
Say like you didn't determine it.
We've got a lot of game coming down to the end. And some we won and some we lost. Which is why we're 6-6. Simon, who said this? What are they talking about?
Gosh, shoot. I hate the ones where you throw a very specific stat in there where if I don't name a team that has that specific stat, I look like an idiot.
Right. It really sets you up.
6-6. Okay. The Lions are not 6-6. The Raiders are not 6-6. They're 5-7. I'm trying to think of teams that are 6-6. The Buccaneers are 6-6 and leading their division. I bet Tom Brady said this about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers season up to this point because he was probably asked about like these teams' struggles and he said like it is what it is. We're at 6-6. That's my answer. Tom Brady talking about their season.
That was my guess. So I only know two teams that are 6-6.
Simon, you are correct.
Yeah.
Points for that one. It is Tom Brady, and he is basically talking about that. Coop said he's talking about, or I'm sorry, not Coop. He said that he is talking about the game victory over the Saints. That is just when he said it. But what he's talking about is their season. So I'm going to give you 2 points for that one, Simon. Well done.
The other team I know is 6-6 is the Patriots.
So as soon as you said I know two teams that are 6-6, I also suddenly knew two teams that were 6-6. I was like, okay, so the Patriots are also 6-6.
Keeping track of records, not super easy.
Not super easy.
No.
I haven't fact checked this, but I trust Jay here. Said breaking news: Brittany Griner released.
Yeah,
amazing. That's awesome,
dude.
Hell yes.
Do we have to give them anything? I mean, who cares? Honestly, man. Yeah. Like my thoughts. Like, yeah, okay, give them back a couple bad hombres, but still, dude, we needed to get her out, dude.
Yeah,
get her home in time for Christmas.
That was preposterous that she was locked up over there. Yeah. Shout out, Brittany. We're glad that you're getting released. Glad that you're coming back.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, Simon, you got 2 points for that quote. Well done. Coop, you're next. Are you ready to live up to Simon's legendary performance here?
I'm going to do my best, man.
We'll see. All right, here's your quote. He's so fast. He's just running by guys. I mean, a couple of them plays, he's outrunning blockers. So you give him a little slither of daylight, he's going to take it to the crib and make you pay.
Oh, man.
I forgot to listen.
Sounds like a defensive player.
Want me to say it one more time?
Can you say it one more time just so I can check it out?
He's so fast. He's just running by guys. I mean, a couple of them plays, he's outrunning blockers. So you give him a little slither of daylight, he's going to take it to the crib and make you pay.
I'm trying to think of players that have taken it to the crib and made people pay. Josh Jacobs comes to mind, which he did have the game-winning touchdown against. Who was that even against? Great.
It was in overtime.
It was in overtime. Both the last two games for that team went to overtime. One was against who did they play last week? The Chargers. So was it Joey Bosa talking about Josh Jacobs?
Joey Bosa talking about Josh Jacobs. That's your answer?
Yeah.
That is incorrect, Coop. Bonk. Simon, you have the opportunity to steal here for both points. Who said this and what are they talking about?
The way it was worded makes me think that it was a surprise that this player is like running past people and making them look silly. Like I was sitting there thinking like this is a player that maybe we're not expecting to be able to do that. Maybe a backup that has come in and performed well recently. So I'm going to say this is Joe Burrow talking about Samaje Perine and his ability during these games. It doesn't quite fit what Samaje does, but I could see a quarterback just like talking up his guy saying like he's out running blockers out there. Let's say Samaje Perine. Joe Burrow saying this about Samaje Perine.
Joe Burrow is the person saying this about Samaje Perine. And Simon, once again, you are wrong.
No!
I'm sorry. This was Ezekiel Elliott talking about Tony Pollard.
Dude, so I was just, I thought I was going to get another guess because I was about to say that next. Ow. Oh.
Too bad. No points for you. No points for anybody on that one. Maybe we'll make it so that you can guess, keep going back and forth. See? I might just go on a long time.
No. Maybe just do like okay, nobody gets the points, but does anybody want one more quick guess? Because I would have been like,
okay, that makes sense.
Maybe something like that. And then we'll be like, if we have no idea, we'll just say no.
So a bunch of the people in the chat came in and gave us some info that they did trade Brittany for a arms dealer. Essentially, it was a 1-for-1 trade. So yeah,
sounds like robbery. We got the way better.
Should
We
never
got the way better end of that deal. They got some piece of trash loser, and we got Brittany Griner. I'll take Griner all day. I'll take Griner all day, every day. Boy, I bet that little weirdo Russian dude can't even dunk.
Probably not. They don't know that though.
Give me Brittany back all day long, dude.
And we got Lucius in the chat here with a super chat. Oh man, I appreciate you. Said underdog in the playoffs in one of my leagues. I need lineup help. 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. Wide receivers are Hollywood, Christian Kirk. So Hollywood Brown, Marquise Brown, Christian Kirk, Josh Palmer, Brandon Ayuk, running backs, James Cook, Tony Jones, or Zonovan Peoples-Knight. Zonovan Knight, running back for the Jets. Who you guys starting there? 1 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex.
I gotta pull that one up.
Ooh. Do we know if Michael Carter's playing this weekend? I mean, they're playing the Buffalo Bills as well, so it's not a good matchup either way. But if Michael Carter's playing and they're playing the Bills, I don't think it can be Zonovan Knight. That's just like 2 strikes against him in my book. But it's not like the other options are inspiring.
I'm not starting James Cook, man. Just the vibe I got from that game was that Devin Singletary got banged up, and then James Cook found a couple plays that were successful against a very soft shell that the Patriots were running, but I don't think he can recreate that again in that fashion. I don't trust James Cook.
Yeah, that's fair.
I like the comments that have come out from the coaches about, even with Michael Carter coming back, Zonovan Knight's going to keep his role. I like the sound of that. That sounds pretty good to me. I'm gonna go with Zonovan here.
Yeah, I was building the case against him, but I looked at the other options, and there's not a strong enough case for either of those guys to start him over Zonovan Knight. I'm with you, Coop.
I mean, you're right. It's easier to build cases against these guys than for them.
Yeah.
All three.
So I accidentally started with the best one, and then realized as I went to go build the cases for the other 2 that it was going to be a Zonovan Knight.
Now I look at this group here: Hollywood, Kirk, Palmer, and Ayuk, and that's where I'm going for the flex. One of those guys. So basically, we just need to pick one of these wide receivers to bench out of this group.
I'm definitely starting Kirk. I'm definitely starting Ayuk. Even though Purdy's in there, like those guys are both in the lineup for me. And then it's a toss up between those other 2 guys.
Now with Mike Williams, I watched your show, JL, with you and JJ Zacharisa, and he seemed hopeful that Mike Williams would play. And he even said that he thought Mike Williams would play this past week. So I know he's been limited in practice, but if Mike Williams plays, we got to kind of fade Josh Palmer a little bit.
Yeah, it becomes easy Josh Palmer. I'm assuming that Mike Williams is not playing just in the for the purposes of this question. If that's the case, if he does not play, I'd still probably go Marquise Brown over Josh Palmer.
Oh, I'm definitely starting Marquise Brown and Kirk. For me, it was between Palmer and Ayuk because I'm a little worried about Ayuk with Big Balls Purdy.
Yeah.
Palmer's the one hitting the bench for me, I think, especially if Mike Williams is back, and I'll start those 3. Hope that was helpful, Lucius. Thank you so much for coming in with the question in the super chat. Let us know if you got a follow-up on any of that right there. We had another question come in here. Nick wanted to know, do I start Jeff Wilson or Deonta Foreman? So we saw Raheem Mostert take some of the work last week against the 49ers. JL, you rolling Jeff Wilson out there after that performance, or are you going with Deonta Foreman?
Yeah, I'm gonna still roll Jeff Wilson. I'm not worried about this one dud performance this past week. It was a very weird game for them. Game script wise, you can't really extrapolate it. This game went or the way that they had to use the running backs in this game was unlike how they've used running backs the whole rest of the season. So I'm not worried. Jeff Wilson is still the main guy there in my mind. And he's his usage is gonna go up. I think he went like sub 20% of the rushing 13% of the rushing attempts in that past game, where the rest of since he's been on Miami, he's been closer to around 60% of the rushing attempts. So I expect that to bounce back up here. Deonta Foreman, not a bad play this week. It is pretty close, but both these guys have solid matchups. Jeff Wilson going against the Chargers, they are giving up the second most points to the running back position. So Wilson gets the edge for me over Foreman.
Yeah, both these teams. I mean, if you just look at yards, the Chargers are letting up the 4th most yards, rushing yards, 151.6 rushing yards per game. And Seattle is letting up 155.3. Both these teams are bottom 4 versus the run. So you kind of can't go wrong here. I think I like the fact that Miami, I like Miami to be their favorite to win this game, even on the road. So I'm with JL on this. I'm going to start Jeff Wilson. Running is the luxury of the winning team. I think Seattle is going to beat the Panthers. The line opened up at -6 and it's still at -4. So I think that there's better chance that Miami ends up just running the ball a ton in a winning game versus the Panthers maybe ending up playing from behind. So I'm with JL on this, Jeff Wilson, but you can't really go wrong with those two guys.
Make it a triple Jeff. A triple Wills. Triple. That was pretty good, JL.
Thank you.
I immediately transported into the movie. I just felt like I was there. We had another question from Brandon in here. Brandon said, "Good morning, y'all. What's up, Brandon?" So I'd be crazy to start 2 Jets this week, Zonovan Knight and Corey Davis. Or should I go with Homer, Jones, or Dallas in the flex full PPR?
Call me crazy, man. I'd start both the Jets.
Yeah. Corey Davis looked good. He looks good, man. He looked big at the end of that game with that catch to keep him in the game.
Yeah. I can't start any of these Seattle running backs. They're all injured, and it's so unclear who's going to even start this week. It's just way too risky.
Yeah. We got Dustin in the chat saying, how many movies are going to be in the bracket? There's going to be 8. And then he said, if it's an 8-movie bracket, over under 3.5 movies Simon hasn't seen.
Yeah, Simon signed off on it on this bracket. And then now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, there's a very real chance you haven't seen a lot of these movies.
We might need to bring in a special guest judge to help Simon with some of these movies. I mean, there's the funny thing is there's at least one on this list that I actually know for a fact he hasn't seen because he said it on the show. Like, I know you haven't seen Schindler's List. So there's one right there. So we're already pushing the over. Like we're already looking at it. Some of these are classics and you have to have seen them or else we will be very upset.
Craig saying, I think it hits 4. We'll see. I know how many it hits. We'll let you guys know. You guys ready to move on to our next quote?
Yeah, let's do it. All right, Simon, we are coming back to you. You are up 2-0 against Coop here in this game. Quotey McQuote Face. Here's your next quote. I think it was Rose say, you don't need to be taking them hits. I say, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Excuse me? May you read that again?
I think it was Roe say, you don't need to be taking them hits. I say, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I think it was Roe say.
You know what? Let's forget this one. Keith, swing and a miss on that one, buddy. Swing and a miss on that one. We're gonna
let me take a guess. Let me take. Was it a quarterback? Was it a quarterback that said it?
It was.
Okay. Was it Justin Fields?
No.
Okay.
It was Tyler Huntley on advice his teammates gave him.
Yeah.
Roquan Smith.
Gotcha. I was thinking ROW. I was like, yeah. Are they in the workout room?
That one, yeah, that was a little too vague for us. It's all right. We got another one. here for you, Simon. Yeah, that's something I've had, all the way growing up, whether it's high school or college. It's something I've had to have, just being a shorter guy. You're not the fastest or strongest. You have to have something else to you.
Shorter guy. I got to think of a shorter guy. Like my mind immediately goes to the stereotypical shorter guy in the league, right? Like you immediately think Kyler Murray because that's the first thing everyone says about him. But this feels like a little bit of a misdirect. But maybe because Kyler's also been like under fire for having like some fire and yelling at his coaches this year. You know what I mean? Like maybe he's talking about that, like some of that like attitude. You know what? I've talked myself into it. I'm going with the obvious answer because if it's not that, I'm going to be upset. I'm going to say this is Kyler Murray talking about that fire in his belly, that attitude that he's got, that he needs to get out there and do it. It's the chip on your shoulder mentality.
Simon, that is half correct.
Okay.
You got the context correct. It is about toughness and competitive edge and grit, you could say, of a player. But it wasn't Kyler Murray who said this.
Give me quote me one more time.
I will repeat the
Could
quote
you
here.
hit me, baby, one more time?
I will hit you, baby, one more time. Yeah, that's something I've had, all the way growing up, whether it's high school or college. It's something I've had to have just being a shorter guy. You're not the fastest or strongest. You have to have something else to you.
Shorter guy. Is this Russell Wilson?
This is not Russell Wilson, Coop. Person who said this was Taylor Heineke. So Simon, you will get 1 point for getting the context correct, and the other point will be lost to history forever.
I didn't even know that Taylor Heineke was short.
I was gonna say I think he's not good enough for people to care that he's short, right? Like they only say that as like a reason that really good quarterbacks are bad. They don't.
He's not even really short. He's 6'1".
Yeah, short. Maybe he was a late. Maybe he was a late bloomer. Know what I mean? Like maybe in high school, and he also said college. I don't know. There goes my theory. But some people don't grow until like, I don't know, junior year of high school. It happens. I've heard that too.
You've heard.
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard some people don't even get armpit hair until their junior year of high school. So maybe that was Taylor Heineke.
Could be Taylor Heineke. All right, guys. Well, like Simon, you are in the lead here, 3-0, Coop. Fortunately, you cannot win this game, but you do have an opportunity to save some face here, not get skunked with this next.
Keith said this last round was worth double, actually.
Did he? Well, Keith isn't.
He did,
your daddy.
It's a holiday special. So,
and Lucius came in and said, "Appreciate the help with that question, guys." Oh man, it got pushed down. Now I lost it. He said, "Appreciate the help with that question, guys. The payout in that league is a little over $1,000." Commissioner had playoffs set to this week. I have Jonathan Taylor on that team on a bye. It's aggravating. Woohoo! Big money.
Yeah.
That is
get that money, boy.
I hope you pull out the W, Lucius. I know you said you were a big underdog, but
Spooky saying we hope you win, Lucius. Yes. Come back in. Let us know how this match. You got to keep us updated, Lucius.
Keep us.
All right, guys.
I'm hanging on every word. All right, give me double points round. Double points round. Let's go.
Single points round for you, Coop. Here is your quote. You can't throw the ball over the middle. Pretty simple on that. Most interceptions, it's about decisions you make at the quarterback position. Holding it, not throwing it, it always kind of comes down to that.
More on that.
Can't throw the ball over the middle. Pretty simple on that. Most interceptions, it's about the decisions you make at the quarterback position. Holding it, not throwing it, it always kind of comes down to that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of people that threw interceptions over the middle. Tom Brady did, but we already had a Tom Brady quote. I think that would be weird to do double Tom Brady's.
Maybe that's what he's trying to make you think.
I think he's trying to
but maybe I'm trying to make you think that he's trying to make you think that.
Oh, you're trying.
Maybe I just triple stamp that double stamp.
Oh my God, that's like a quadruple
champ. I'm gonna go with Simon here. I don't want to have said it and then not have it be right. So I'm going to talk about Tom Brady throwing that interception this week to Demario Davis.
So you're saying Tom Brady said this?
Tom Brady said this. And the reason that he talked about throwing it over the middle in interceptions is because he threw an interception over the middle to Demario Davis on Monday night.
Coop, That is absolutely wrong.
Sorry for that
Simon.
really annoying noise.
No, and on the double points
On
question.
the double points round, Simon, double points round. You can steal here.
Can you read it for me one more time?
Yes, I can.
Now it's a double points round. Now that I've gotten it
double
wrong.
points round. Can't throw the ball over the middle. Pretty simple on that. Most interceptions, it's about decisions you make at the quarterback position. Holding it, not throwing it. It always kind of comes down to that.
Ooh, I first heard quarterback, but now I'm hearing coach. Now I'm hearing coach a little bit.
Coach speak.
I'm hearing coach here, but I don't know. And now I'm going to roll with the quarterback. I'm going to say this was, I don't think it was over the middle, but talking about interceptions, it was his first game back. I'm going to say this is, no, I'm going back again. I'm going to say this is Kevin Stefanski talking about Deshaun Watson after the game in which he threw the red zone interception in his first game back. That's my final answer.
Ooh.
Simon.
Ooh.
You are absolutely wrong as well.
No, I got so excited there. You full. It was the smile, JL.
I'm sorry, Simon. You were on the right track, though. I will say it was a coach. This was Lovie Smith on Kyle Allen's second interception. Talking about interception.
Kyle Allen.
Davis Mills. Davis Mills is starting again against the Cowboys. So welcome back to the starting lineup, Davis Mills.
He is, yeah.
Kyle Allen.
How exciting!
Well, Coop,
no points on that one, but Simon, you will win 3-0 in this
Coop,
game.
you were a worthy opponent, but you should have scored more points. Then maybe you would have had a chance.
Now you got to do a naked mile.
Now you got to do a naked mile.
Wiener's out. Yeah, Tommy, add a naked version of my card when you make it for as punishment.
Just draw it
It
from
reminds
memory.
me of like at shitty tourist shops and gift shops where on the counter they'd have the cup of pens and on it is like a fully dressed person, and then you turn it and they're stripper pens. You know what I'm talking about? The holographic images.
No.
But now you can dance on a card. It's going to be beautiful. Guys, coming up, we are going to run through our Steven Spielberg movie bracket, and then we've got our Thursday night football predictions coming up for you as well. And as always, if you've got questions, throw them in the chat. We would love to answer each and every one of them for you. And we love talking football. So if you got questions, it is easy for us to jump in there and start talking about them. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
There was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out, what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we can probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have
like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here, and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And, they bring up the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Ayuk ran on an end around. But we can't,
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot and the player always tosses the ball right into his face. Right? He's coming over to spot it, and it's every other time the player just here you go. Here's another thing to juggle.
On call with Dr. Roto.
If the Giants don't win another game this year, A, I'll be shocked. But B, I'll still think that they're better than they were with Joe Judge. Much better. Because I think Brian Dable's got a lot out of this team already. And I'm seeing what this team could be. See, that's the problem with owners and general managers. I see Nathaniel Hackett and I see a guy who can't get it done. I see Matt Rule and see a guy who never should have been hired. Disaster right away. Sometimes a good coordinator in the NFL is better. I don't even say sometimes. Most of the time, a good coordinator in the NFL is better than a college coach because the NFL coordinators, they know the system. They've been there. They've played. They've been around it. For the life of me, I don't know why Eric Bieniemy hasn't gotten a job yet. Deuce Staley is going to get a job. Somebody's going to hire that dude. When you've been around the game, you understand it. These college guys come, they don't know it.
Join the show with one touch of a button. It's Sports Talk 3.0 on Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We caught Coop Hatless for a second there. We got some nude head Coop.
Nude head Coop.
And now we got nude quiet Coop.
What are we talking about? I wasn't looking at my phone.
He's like, I wasn't buying jerseys. And Tommy's and Coop flashing the locks. Yeah, he just wanted everyone to know that he has a full head of hair. We get it, Coop.
Very impressive.
Very impressive, that hairline. We get it.
That's what I was doing. Exactly.
I knew it.
Wasn't looking at Twitter on my phone.
We are about to get into our Steven Spielberg bracket. I see Pang's picks in the chat. What's up, Pang? He said, good morning, daddies. Good morning, Pang. Glad to have you in here. Joining us right now, guys, is our friend and resident movie expert, Joey Spielberg, coming up to help us get this bracket right. I saw concerns in the chat already that we were going to ruin this. So we had to bring in the ringer for our movie bracket. Make sure we got it done. What's up, Joey?
Hey guys, I honestly think today was a test if I listened to the morning show, and so I'm here. But I couldn't come alone. I had to bring somebody with me. So I'm here. I'm ready for the.
We got ET.
So, yeah. He's got the hood on and everything, dude.
I brought the extraterrestrial himself. Let's go.
That's awesome. Also, Dustin said Joey is not a movie expert, just throwing haymakers in the chat for no reason. Dustin, he's got so many movie magazines behind him. He's read every single one of them.
He's not
a movie expert.
Magazine. Yeah.
I just pulled up the clip, and the kid in the movie is also wearing a red sweatshirt. So he's not only got the hood, but he's got the right color.
Wonder why he came in with the hoodie.
I will post it on Twitter after I'm off the show. But I was Elliot for Halloween at work, and I created the handlebars or the basket in front of it where I could still work, and the ET inside of it. It wasn't this one. This was from Universal. Had a glowing chest and everything. I'll put it up. It was a great costume, and now they sell it at Party City. But I did it before it was.
Also, Dustin said he is a film expert. Not a movie expert. Yeah. So he's got your back over there. Well, guys, we are going to get into this bracket. The 8 movies we're going to be talking about. I'm going to run through our first round matchups right here. We've got the number 1 seed Jurassic Park going up against the number 8 seed Minority Report. We've got the number 4 seed ET going up against the number 5 seed Saving Private Ryan. We've got the number 3 seed Jaws going up against the number 6 seed Schindler's List. We've got the number 2 seed Indiana Jones going up against the number 7 seed Catch Me If You Can. So those are our 4 first round matchups. The 8 movies we are going to be talking about here.
You did good with this 8. You did good with this 8.
It's Coop. Shout out Coop for putting this together.
Joe, I have respect for film. That's why I put this together, got you on. I know that Jurassic Park and Indiana Jones aren't a movie, but we could, with Indiana Jones, you could probably do an entire bracket of just those.
It's like Raiders. Yeah.
So we're gonna do it that way. But the thing is, guys, I want you, and Joe, it might be tough. Do your best not to give Indiana Jones extra points for having more movies. Right? Maybe just take your favorite Indiana Jones and compare it to
Crystal Skull. Absolutely, will do.
Saving Private.
Yeah, I was going to say, Joe, you beat me to it. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, number 1 overall. There you go. Let's get into this first matchup here. We've got Jurassic Park versus Minority Report. And I'm going to start us off on this one. I'll go first. I have never seen Minority Report. I haven't seen a single second of that movie. If we're being honest, I can't even tell you what genre that movie is.
Can you tell us who stars in it?
Yeah, of course. I do know that. So Minority Report starring Kate Upton and of course Eddie Murphy and Kate Upton are the co-stars in that movie.
Eddie Murphy is in Minority Report, Simon.
See? No. Damn it.
Are you kidding me, dude? What are you?
and then Paul Rudd, of course, plays the main character in Minority Report.
If I'm not mistaken. Paul Rudd, yes.
Yeah. But I'm voting for Jurassic Park here. Jurassic Park is a classic. If I'd seen Minority Report, there's probably a good chance I would still vote for Jurassic Park. I love that movie. And Craig, shout out to you. JL, where's your vote going?
My vote is also going to Craig's alma mater here. I'm going to go Jurassic Park.
Dinos for the win. What about you, Coop?
Now, I will say Minority Report is a fun movie, right?
Love
That
me some
one-
sci-fi.
Yeah, a little sci-fi, dude. It's a good
Ooh.
feel. It's a good feel to sci-fi. He has a couple sci-fi movies that didn't make this, like AI. That's another one that's kind of fun. But
Yeah, I
I
love
mean,
AI.
dude, Jurassic Park's just kind of a powerhouse, dude. So you got to go Jurassic Park here.
Joe, are you making it a sweep or are
Yeah.
you throwing some love on Minority Report?
Jurassic Park's the movie that made me fall in love with movies. It's the happiest movie memory I ever have in a movie theater. There's only one movie I would vote about in this bracket over Jurassic Park. So
Whoa, a little foreshadowing there too.
And if
Little
I know
foreshadowing.
anything about us, we're going to eliminate it before it gets the chance to play Jurassic Park.
maybe because of what it's
100%.
going against, but
100%.
I don't care the hate mail I get for it.
Okay, so Jurassic Park, moving on to the next round right here.
We got
Craig's
some
happy about
scampers in
that.
the chat. He says, "Why is Coop so sweaty?" That is a good question. Why are you so
There's
sweaty, Coop?
Spaghetti.
Thirsty Thursday, baby.
Oh,
Troy King got that tweet out there, dude. That's what I was looking at on my phone when I may or may not have missed the return to the show just now.
Shout out T King Mode.
Shout out T King Mode.
And Davis says it's 5:30 a.m. for me, but y'all are worth it. We love you, Davis. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Oh, Davis, you sweetie.
And I'm sorry, but you're wrong. That's so early, man. But I appreciate
way
that
too
you
early.
think that. Mr. Scammer said, try not to penalize Jurassic Park for the terrible ones. I'm not. I will not penalize
Can't.
Jurassic Park.
Terrible lines
Can't-
that
I
are
can't and I
none,
won't.
don't exist.
Dinosaur
Let's
movie?
move on to our next matchup. We've got the 5 seed Saving Private Ryan versus the 4 seed ET. JL, where are you rolling here?
E.T. was great. If you're a baby, it's movies made for kids. Saving Private Ryan, that movie is also great, but kind of sad.
If you're a
little tough
baby-
to watch, but it's good. So I'm gonna go Saving Private Ryan.
One
Yeah.
vote for Saving Private Ryan. Coop,
Got to
where
be
you rolling?
emotionally in a good
I
spot
got-
to watch
you
Saving
know-
Private Ryan.
E.T. amazing. You know, I have a good friend who has multiple E.T. dolls. And, you know,
I do have multiple, actually.
I know you do because you said you had an ET outfit and then you had ET with you, but not this one, which means you have at least 2, possibly more. But dude, Saving Private Ryan is just so epic, man, and everything about it is so well done. The beach scene is legendary, dude. The slow-mo stabbing scene is pretty rough, I will say. That's negative. But the cast is so cool, man. You go back and look and you're like, what the heck? I didn't know. I totally forgot that Vin Diesel was in this. What is happening here? So that movie is just awesome. I got to pick Saving Private Ryan. Sorry, Joey.
It's okay. So, real quick about Saving Private Ryan. I don't like war movies at all. However, Saving Private Ryan is probably my second favorite war movie because it doesn't glorify war. It shows you how awful it can be and shows you the trials of it. So I love Saving Private Ryan. So this is not a shade at that. But I am a child of divorce, and E.T. is not really about an alien. It's about a family dealing with a divorce and a family broken. I am that child, Elliot. It's the most emotional I get watching a movie. My vote's going to E.T., and I understand it's probably not going to move on, and that's fine. But I feel like I've represented E.T. well today. Thank you.
All right, Simon, are you willing
I
to
announce my
besmirch
vote.
Joey's childhood?
Before I announce my vote, I wanted no foreshadowing at all. Let everyone in the chat know to please vote in the chat if you have a preference. If you have a preference, vote in the chat. We'll go to the chat. And if it's tied in the chat, we'll go to Keith to break the chat tie.
Yeah.
But either chat you're in there, because right now we've got one vote from Tommy for ET over here in the BSN chat. We've got one vote from Spooky Season for Saving Private Ryan in the YouTube chat. So it is tied. And Joey, I have some good news for you. I have never seen Saving Private Ryan.
Okay.
Come on, dude. Are you serious?
I have not seen. I've seen Saving Ryan's Privates, which is, I think, an entirely different movie, but I've never seen Saving Private Ryan. So I'm going to go with E.T. here. And Tommy brought up a great point in the chat. The E.T. ride is like one of my happiest places in Universal Studios. It is not high tech like some of the other ones, but it doesn't need to be. It's beautiful and it's calm, and it is a place of respite in that park. Whenever you need a break, you need to recharge. That ride gets you back the energy and the happiness and the joy, and then you can go finish your day.
Oh, it has the best line queue of any theme park ride, period. You get to go through the forest. I'm getting emotional. Yeah, absolutely, Simon. I fully agree.
This is why we
it's
needed.
tied.
This is why we needed to get Joey on here, dude. Because Simon, we were picking between two films, and Simon has chosen a Disney ride over a movie he's never seen.
I've
Is that
seen
what's-
ET as well. I'm not just picking the ride, just so we're clear. We have lots of votes in the chat coming in now, though. And Joey, I'm sorry. Ernie voting for Saving Private Ryan. Scamper's
It's
voting
okay.
for Saving Private Ryan.
Earned
Dustin
on.
also voting for Saving Private Ryan. So it looks like from the early tabulation, Saving Private
It's all right.
Ryan is going to move on to the next round. I tried. ET eliminated in round 1, though. Our next round matchup, Coop, you are going to have the first vote on this one. It is Jaws versus Schindler's List. The 3 seed Jaws versus the 6 seed Schindler's List. Coop, which way you rolling here?
Now this is very difficult because if we're sitting here and we're picking, if the contest was what do we think the best and most important film is, it probably should be Schindler's List. Very important movie, very important topic, incredibly well done. But then the other movie, dude, has like a badass
Big
shark.
sharks.
You know what I mean? There's like a shark. The speech by the captain there, Joey, what's his name? One of the best speeches in any movie all time. Probably second only to the speech by Bill Pullman in Independence Day when he's the president and he's like, "We will not go quietly into the night." You know what I mean? So second best movie speech, in my opinion, is the one from Jaws where he's talking about the shark and the SS Indianapolis, which was a boat that pretty much everyone got eaten by sharks.
Yeah.
So I gotta pick the shark movie, but respect to Schindler's List, of course.
Shout out Sharks. Jaws, 1 vote from Coop. What are you doing, Joey?
Yeah, Schindler's List is an incredible film and it's very moving. And I'm not going to be the guy that says it's a bad movie because it's not at all. It's an incredible, painful film to watch. Jaws changed the way movies are made, like flat out. Summer blockbusters would not exist if it wasn't for Steven Spielberg and Jaws. I throw my vote to Jaws. My favorite, I went to a screening of Jaws in San Antonio, actually, where you rented an inner tube and you sat on a lake and you watched it on a big screen while your feet dangled in the water. One of the coolest experiences I've had watching a movie. It holds up so well. You don't need a bunch of crappy CGI. The shark is right there. It didn't work for half the movie. That's why you don't see it for so long. Jaws. It's Jaws. It's an incredible film.
Joey, the first time I saw Jaws was in a very similar setting. Not a lake, so maybe not as cool, but it was a swim team end of the season party where they like had the pool after hours, got approval, and they set up a big inflatable screen and we all had inner tubes. So it was less scary because we were in a pool, but still just the sensation of like your feet dangling in the water while you're watching Jaws. It makes you pull your feet up at certain times or you just lift them up in the air. And I am sorry, but yet again, I've never seen Schindler's List. So these first round matchups are each one movie I've seen versus one movie I haven't seen so far. So I'm going to go with Jaws, the super big shark movie. And not only I've seen Jaws, I've seen more than I should have of the sequels as well. And although terrible, the idea of a shark being sentient enough to track a family down around the world and hunt them down is just a movie plot I can get behind.
So good, dude.
JL,
Hard to fail. Yeah.
Where are you going, JL? Jaws is moving on, but where's your vote going?
I'm gonna throw my vote to Schindler's List because I think it would be a shame to blow out Schindler's List here.
Good. It did not deserve to get swept there for sure.
It's a fantastic
doing the Lord's work, JL. And I just want to before I go to the next round, I just want to update everyone. The over under on movies out of 8 that Simon had not seen is set at 3.5. We are now sitting at 3 going into the final matchup.
Strong over, tracking to be an over.
It's anyone's game. It's anyone's game.
And shockingly, everyone bet all of their money on the over on this.
Money pouring in on the over.
I don't know. Maybe
there is not a single bet on the under.
The chat was all on Jaws. Craig, Jaws easily.
100%
better,
Jaws for the poll.
Yeah, Better Boss and Tommy both over here saying Jaws as well. Well, here's our next matchup, guys. The number 2 seed, Indiana Jones, going up against the number 7 seed, Catch Me If You Can. And Joe, you've got the first vote on this one. What's it going to be?
Indiana Jones is the coolest MRFer that's ever lived in this entire world. And I don't care how many damn movies they make. I will go see every one of them, even if I hate them. Like Crystal Skull is garbage and should never have been made. But I cannot wait for Indiana Jones 5. I've seen the stills from it. Let's go. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like, holy cow. Like, what a film. What an experience. Like, yeah, Catch Me If You Can's great. I love Leo. Love Tom Hanks. But, I mean, you're not Indiana Jones. I'm sorry.
When I was a kid, my dad and I would do movie marathons from time to time. Not often. I'd say like once a year or twice a year. And there were a couple series that we would go between. The Lord of the Rings series, which that would be a long one. That was a commitment. The Back to the Future series, we would watch those. Or the Indiana Jones series. Those were our 3 like movie marathon series that we would run through. So I've got real
Classic
positive
dad collection
childhood.
right there.
Oh, it's such a dad movie collection, isn't it? So that leans me towards Indiana Jones. And then the other thing that leans me towards Indiana Jones is the fact that I have never seen Catch Me If You
There it is. The
Can.
over.
The over hit
There
4
it
movies
is.
out of 8 in this bracket that I have not seen. Catch Me
did
If You
it.
Can. I've seen an interview with the guy that it's based on, but I have not seen the actual movie. That's the one about the con artist, right?
Yeah.
And it's based on the true story.
Yeah.
Am I thinking of the right movie? But Indiana
Close,
Jones
yeah.
gets my vote. Dale, where's your vote going?
I'm going to piss a lot of people off. Indiana Jones, nothing special to me. It's never kept my attention. I've tried to watch a bunch of times, guys. It's just not, it's not my bag of tricks, my bag of tea. Catch Me If You Can, on the other hand, fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Christopher Walken talking about shoving watches up people's butts. It is such a good movie. You got Leo just tricking people. It's fantastic. Catch Me If You Can all day. Let's go.
So
2-1.
every time I
I'm-
watch Temple of Doom from here on out, I'm gonna pretend that the guy that gets his heart ripped out is JL.
I was literally just.
I don't
I-
get that reference.
I was about to say that it's my turn to talk, but I feel like I need to allow Joey to have a rebuttal to to defend himself.
Are you grabbing my boob?
Honk, honk.
Is it you honking my boob?
Kaliman.
Get your hands off my boob, Joey.
Anyway, sorry.
Okay, now I will say this here.
Simon said honk honk.
I love Catch Me If You Can. It's a great movie, and I probably would have picked Catch Me If You Can 2 weeks ago, perhaps even. But I actually just very recently found out that so the whole premise is of this guy, was like a forger, a liar, and then he decided to help. He got caught, then he helped, the good guys, right? Turns out that the guy that it's based on, a guy where all his things are based on lying. Well, it turns out that guy happens to be a liar, an even bigger liar than you would think. And a lot of the stuff from the movie, he just made up, right? So like now I'm like, okay, maybe this real story isn't as real as we think. I mean, the guy's a good storyteller.
Hey, Coop, I'm going to be honest with you, man. That shark is not a real shark in Jaws.
But they don't claim for it to be.
Yeah.
Or do they?
Is Leo a con man?
Next thing you're
I don't
gonna
know.
tell me that that Indiana Jones wasn't partially responsible for helping melt a bunch of
Yeah.
Nazis.
Don't be
down-
ridiculous.
yeah.
He ended World War II. Like,
Right?
let's go.
Unreal, dude. So I gotta go with Indiana Jones, man. It's iconic. It's iconic. Whereas Catch Me If You Can was just a one-off.
You know
Move
what?
on.
Even though I hadn't seen half of these movies, overall, seems like I picked the right half because only one of the movies I haven't seen has moved on. And the ones I have seen mostly did move on. So we're only left with one that I have not yet seen.
I have my
Chat said
definitive.
80% Indiana Jones, 20% Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, they had to be. They had to be. Catch Me If You Can went up against a powerhouse, dude.
I have my definitive Spielberg rankings up, and 3 of the 4 are still alive. So I think we're doing good.
Yeet. Well, guys, we are going to get into our semifinals matchup here. Semifinals matchup. And everybody watching, I wanted to remind you, if you're watching this and you've got fantasy football questions, throw them in the chat and we would be more than happy to help answer those. Anything you got for us, we're glad to answer it. Or non-fantasy questions. We can help you out there too, potentially, depending on what it's about. Dustin, also, when you're saying Last Crusade is one of his favorite movies, up there in the top.
Yep. Agreed.
Guys, here is your first semifinals matchup. We've got Jurassic Park versus Saving Private Ryan. And we are back to me with the first vote in this one. Craig coming in with the dinosaurs in the chat. And as I said in the first round, I have not seen Saving Private Ryan. But even if I had, is it really going to beat like a mega dinosaur movie? Like a huge dinosaur movie? There's hardly a better theater experience than a movie with giant dinosaurs, right? Like that is a movie where when you see it in theaters, it makes a difference because the dinosaurs are massive. I'm going to roll Jurassic Park because dinosaurs, man. And I've never seen Saving Private Ryan. JL, which way you rolling here?
So tough. These are 2 very good movies. Saving Private Ryan, It's fantastic. It's probably one of the best movies ever made, but it's tough to watch. It's tough to watch. Jurassic Park, it's pretty delightful to watch. See a guy get eaten right off the toilet. Right off the toilet. How many times in your life can you say you get to watch a guy get eaten off of a toilet?
Once.
Anytime you watch
or actually,
Jurassic Park.
however many times I've seen Jurassic Park. So
Hit
a
replay.
lot of times.
Do it again.
A lot of times.
Let's go with Jurassic Park.
2 votes for Jurassic Park. Coop, where you rolling?
I've got my hood up now out of respect for Joey and ET. Sorry that,
Sorry.
we can't.
Sorry, it's not my number one, so I'm okay.
Sorry, we can't.
Got to go at some point.
Cancel your childhood last round. I'm gonna pick Saving Private Ryan here because Jurassic Park, awesome film, dude, very popular. But Saving Private Ryan, I just feel like that movie in itself really changed the war movie genre. I think it might be the best war movie, and it's got everything you look for. It's got the action, it's got the family crisis, dude. It's got the difficult decisions, right? And
without Saving Private Ryan, we would have never had Tropic Thunder.
For real. See, I mean, now you're. Do you want to take your vote back, or?
I kind of do.
I'll allow it. But I'm gonna go Saving Private Ryan here. I know it's a controversial pick, but give me Saving Private Ryan over Jurassic Park.
Peng in the chat cracking me up. He had some movie suggestions in here, and don't worry, I already said I've seen Saving Ryan's Privates, so we're good on that one. But that one's not on the bracket. I have not seen Indiana Bones though, so I'm gonna have to check that one out a little bit later. Joey, it's 2-1 right now. Where's your vote going?
What Coop said about Saving Private Ryan is completely correct, but it is missing one thing, and that is dinosaurs.
Yeah, that's right.
It's gonna be Jurassic Park. I love Saving Private Ryan. I said, it's one of my favorite war movies. But I mean, there's something magical about Jurassic Park. The fact that the special effects hold up to this day is a testament to itself. Alan Grant, the first time he sees the dinosaurs, it's moving. It's beautiful. And it's Jurassic
So we've
Park.
got Jurassic Park moving on. Is Jojo Rabbit a war movie?
I don't know, but that movie's awesome.
Like it takes place during a war, but I wouldn't call it a war movie, right? Because I was trying to think what's my favorite war movie. I probably wouldn't call that a war movie.
It's a war movie as much as like a film like Life is Beautiful. That's like it takes place in the war, and it's about the people that are affected by the war, which in a way is about war. So I would say it's a war movie.
Okay, then that's my answer right there. Also, Peng in the chat saying, thanks, Harold and Kumar, for teaching me. Yeah, Harold and Kumar teaching all the important life lessons.
Any movie with Hitler in it is a war movie.
Yeah, you know what? That's probably a fair assessment. Dustin in here said should do a losers bracket. Crystal Skull versus whichever Jurassic Park movie is the worst. Probably 3. But we can just start picking from the bad ones. That's okay.
The chat picks 75% on Jurassic Park for this one.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Sorry.
The chat's been pretty in line with the panel so far.
Saving Private Ryan went up against a wagon on that one, though.
It did, yeah.
And Better Boss Sign, you're saying give me Inglourious Bastards as the best war movie. His favorite war movie. Jail, is Saving Private Ryan your favorite war movie, or do you have a different one?
I'd never thought about classifying it that way. Inglourious Bastards is pretty good, though.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Fury, the one with Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf? That's the other one that jumped out to me. That's a good one.
Apocalypse Now is my favorite war movie because it's about how much war sucks.
Apocalypse Now is exhausting, bro.
It's great.
Like that is that movie.
Never could finish it.
That movie gets real weird. Oh, so you've never seen the end because you haven't seen the
that's when it gets the best.
Yeah, that's when it gets. That's when it goes off the rails, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should go back and you should probably just leave it at what you saw instead of going.
Well, Jalen, that one I actually haven't seen either. So I haven't seen a pop. Well, I'm glad that movie's not in the bracket because I am having trouble saying apocalypse right now. We are on to our next matchup. Jurassic Park advanced to the finals, eliminating Saving Private Ryan. Joining E.T., The Minority Report, Schindler's List, and Catch Me If You Can with the losing movies. Our next semifinal matchup is Jaws versus Indiana Jones. And JL, you've got the first vote here. What's it going to be?
Jaws versus Indiana Jones. Oh, I think this will surprise everybody to know. I'm going Jaws here. Big Shark beats old man adventuring beyond his years, his peak years. Yeah, give me Jaws.
Jail, you
Talk about
literally are the
Elder
person who came.
Scouts.
I was gonna say you came up with Elder Scouts and talking how great it is yesterday. Then they've got Elder Scouts the movie, and you're like, nah, I'm out.
I mean, dude, you're totally glossing over the first like couple movies where he's just like a young stud with a whip just kicking ass. You know what I mean?
No, I just
Like,
picture every single one with Harrison Ford now.
right. Well, then you're gonna have to picture.
I accidentally typed in Elder Scouts into the poll. I said, which is a better Spielberg film, Indiana
Elder Scouts.
Jones or Elder Scouts?
I'm gonna go on this one. On this one, I gotta go with Indiana Jones, man. I have to side with what I think is more fun. And like Jaws is a very good movie, but it is pretty scary, dude. And you know, I know you talk about like
scary.
I know you talk about watching the movie in a pool, but like, dude, as a kid, even in my own pool, there were definitely times where I'd be like swimming at night and I'd be like, there's probably something down there. You know what I mean? So and Jaws was responsible for a lot of those feelings that I didn't really like having. So give me Indiana Jones, man. He's just so badass, bro. So badass.
1-1. Joey, set us up.
So, you know, we've given a lot of love to the shark, but I think we need to talk about the scariest part of Jaws is not actually the shark. It's when he goes underwater to that boat and the guy's eye pops out of his head.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That is the scariest part of Jaws that no one remembers. And that's why it's the scariest, because it scares the shit out of them every time it happens. My vote's for Jaws. I love Indiana Jones, like probably the most influential, like fictional character on my childhood. Like anytime I run through the garage, like I'm sliding through to get through at the end so it doesn't close on me, you know, just like Indiana Jones. But I mean, like I said, Jaws changed the way movies are made. Like it's a phenomenal film, holds up incredibly well. It's Jaws for me.
In the 4th grade, I went to a elementary school sponsored fundraiser night at the local skating rink. Shout out Sparkles. It was on Halloween and they had a costume contest. For that costume contest, I dressed up as one of my favorite movie characters at the time, and I ended up taking home the prize, a $20 Blimpie Sub Shop gift card. The movie character that won me that Blimpie gift card was Indiana Jones.
Short round.
It was Indiana Jones.
Shark.
I dressed up as Indiana Jones for Halloween in the 4th grade, got that win, got the Blimpie, and I love those movies. Even Crystal Skulls I'll watch over and over again.
Simon as a kid dressed up as like a old dusty corpse with his eye hanging out, and he's like, I'm the eyeball guy from Jaws. Don't you recognize me?
I might have done that.
I'm Harrison Ford now, but that was when I was in the 4th grade. I'm like, I'm Harrison Ford in 20 years. My vote goes to Indiana Jones, which means we have a tie here. It is 2-2. Jail, do we have a poll in the chat giving us the winner?
We do. And unfortunately, the chat is wrong again. 80% going to Indiana Jones on this one.
Hey, oh my God, I am the winner.
Dustin said Indiana Jones is one of the reasons I own a normal whip. What are the other reasons, Dustin?
Livestock.
He's got some other reasons for owning them. Indiana Jones moves on to the finals, and we usually don't have very scratch brackets, but we've ended with a scratch finals here. The 1 seed versus the 2 seed. Jaws versus Indiana Jones.
Nope.
Who has the best vote here? I think
I love that the Better Network app itself has just evolved into Matt and Tommy going back and forth with Indiana Jones quotes. That's just all that chat is since for the last like 10 minutes. It's like
none of their actual words.
They've gone off on their own. Yeah, they're kind of getting me fired up on Indy. Not gonna lie, boys. Kind of get me fired up.
And Dustin said because it's cool, and that's why I said normal whip, not an adult whip. Dustin, I'm pretty sure a whip's a whip. Just wanna throw that your direction, but it is cool. I expected whenever you said one of the reasons that the other reason was going to be something exciting, like grabbing your remote from across the room or something. Our finals matchup, guys, we've got Jurassic Park versus Indiana Jones, and JL, you have the first vote on this one. Where are you voting?
I don't think anyone will be surprised by going Jurassic Park. I do it for Craig.
1 vote for Jurassic Park and the dinosaurs. Coop, what about you?
I had to take my hood off because my ears are getting too hot, Joey. Sorry. That was as much respect as I could give. I had my headphones on over my ears, dude. It was way too much. Now I gotta say, dude, as much respect as I have for the boys in the chat and their Indiana Jones quotes, and as cool as Indiana Jones is, and as iconic as his boots from Alden are, I gotta say, dude, no matter what with the Jurassic Park movies, like Joey said with the Indy movies, I will watch them, all of them, every single time. And you know what it does it for me at the end of the day is that music. When you go to watch a movie, a Jurassic Park movie, especially when you're in the theaters, Joey, you can go ahead with it.
Is that the right one?
Yeah, that's the one, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's just like you see them, like, usually they're in some kind of helicopter coming up to an island, dude, and there's dinosaurs on that island, right? Like, so that just gets me fired up, dude. So I got to go with Jurassic Park. I got to go Jurassic Park.
2 votes for Jurassic Park. Joey, we've got 2 votes for Jurassic Park.
Listen, I love this finals. It's my 2 and my 3 and my definitive Spielberg rankings, which you can find on Letterboxd. And what's funny about this 2 and 3 is at my wedding, when the bridal party entered and when my wife and I entered, the 2 theme songs we played were the Welcome to the Island from Jurassic Park and the Raiders theme. So those are the 2 themes. My bridal party walked into Indiana Jones. My wife and I walked into Jurassic Park. Therefore, I have to pick Jurassic Park because my heart of hearts, when I had that decision to make, which do I want to choose? Which beautiful John Williams score do I want to pick? I picked Jurassic Park. So that's where my vote's going because John Williams' score, like Coob mentioned, is just as big a part of this movie as any of those dinosaurs. Thank you.
Welcome to my TED Talk. It's been decided. Seriously. Jurassic Park is going to be our winner, but I've got to vote. And if you haven't noticed, a lot of this has been memory based. There's a lot of nostalgia with a lot of these movies. And when I went to Universal Studios with my family in middle school, my dad wore his hat. He never wore hats, but he had one hat that he loved. It was from the Space Center in Alabama, and he was wearing it because it was hot that day. We're on the Jurassic Park ride. And have you been on that ride? There's a moment where you're about to get eaten by a T-Rex, and then you just drop straight down. We get to the end, and they pull up the photos, and you see my dad, and that's where they take the pictures as you're falling. He is out of his seat, like past the seatbelt, reaching in the air as his hat flies into the T-Rex's mouth. And so that is the one and only photo I've ever purchased from a roller coaster or my family purchased because my dad is standing up and it looks like the T-Rex is actually eating his hat. It's Jurassic Park. Iconic movie, iconic rides, iconic memories. Shout out to dinosaurs and shout out Craig.
Did you guys ever go to MGM or Hollywood Studios and see the Indiana Jones show?
I feel like I did, but I haven't been to MGM.
I saw the Jaws
show.
show. I saw the Jaws stunt show back in the day, which was wild, bro.
On my 23rd birthday, my friend set up for me to get to be in the Indiana Jones because they picked somebody from out of the audience, and I had a friend that worked for Disney, so they planted me, and I got picked to be on the Indiana stunt show stage, and I got to reenact the scene where Indy shoots the guy with the sword. And I hammed it up from when I got shot by Indy. From one side of the stage to the other. It was one of like the greatest memories of my life.
Just doing these all the way across the stage.
Yeah. I did you shot me. Why did you shoot me? And then just like, And the guy that played Indiana Jones came up to me afterwards. He's like, normally I do this like 5 times a day and never really get to have fun with it, but that was kind of fun. I was like, okay, thank you. But yeah, I love Steven Spielberg.
He's like,
shout out to Spielberg.
I never get that fun with it. He goes, that wasn't quite fun, but it was pretty damn close, kid.
Yeah. I gotta go kill this Nazi. I'm like, okay, bye, Andy.
All right, so
shout out Steven Spielberg. Hit that fun button for him.
Yeah, hit that fun button.
Fun button for the Berg. Dude.
Go see The Fabelmans. Give it some money. It's so good.
That's the new Spielberg.
Yeah,
that's the movie about Spielberg's life.
It's about how he fell in love with the movies. It's very, very good. It's heartwarming.
Joe, do you have any other Spielberg movies that didn't make the cut that you think,
so
honorable mentions you want to throw out there?
Shout out Simon, and Coop for making like a really solid 8 bracket. The only 2 that were in my top 8 that weren't in this.
Shout out Simon.
Shout out Simon.
Yeah, good job, Simon.
Coop, yeah.
Was
Close Encounters. Love Close Encounters. And Artificial Intelligence, probably 2 of my favorite directors. Stanley Kubrick died. and Spielberg came in and finished AI for him. I love artificial intelligence. Probably the best retelling of Pinocchio that you'll ever see. Marty Report was in there. I do have Last Crusade in my top 8, but I understand one indie film for the bracket. Munich's Badass, Eric Bana's. I almost said the F word. Yeah, that's about all the honorable mentions that
you
should
almost
go
said
out.
fart live on the radio.
Fart.
I can't believe that, Joey.
Embarrassing.
I know.
Munich is
But yeah,
another
my
that's
1,
a
2,
tough
3, 4.
watch.
Jaws was my number 1. Jurassic Park, Raiders, and then ET at 4.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Good job.
We got Scott Fish in the chat saying, "Can we get a shot of the bracket so far?" Yeah, I'll let you know how it played out in the first round.
Discord.
Yeah, we can throw the bracket in the Discord. The winner was Jurassic Park over Indiana Jones in the finals. If you want to see the full bracket, we threw it up in our Discord. So head on over there to check it out. Scott Fish also letting us know that they walked out to the thong song at his wedding.
That's a John Williams
Nice.
song too.
John Williams, dude. Credit where credit's due.
Yeehaw!
That's gonna be a
Also,
sad day when he goes. It's
Oh
coming.
my god, he's the best. Don't you say that?
He's like 90. Like
I know, but you
sadly,
don't
it's gonna
say
come
it's
soon.
coming for all of us.
So
I hope
Greg,
he goes in like a Ferrari wreck though. That'd be like the coolest way for John Williams to go. You know,
Yeah,
to get this far.
flips a vet, dude.
Yeah.
That's the only way for him to go.
Yeah.
this is completely unrelated, but I'm going to say it anyways because you guys said cool ways to go. And it reminded me of an article I read one time about this elderly LSU fan that was in the stands and watched them catch a game-winning touchdown and then had a heart attack from the excitement and passed away there. Like he was like late 80s, but in the LSU stands. That's how I want to go at a Clemson game as they catch the game-winning touchdown, like at the end of my life. Know what I mean? And then you're like, you are so excited. You die in a moment of pure ecstasy and joy, surrounded by everybody celebrating with you. Like that sounds like an all right way to head out, right?
Yeah,
It does.
I think so, dude.
Much better than falling and your parachute not opening.
Yeah,
creating a bone cradle, whatever you said, bone basket,
bone cradle. It suddenly got worse when
bone
he changed
satchel,
it to a bone merce.
Just a bag of bone splinters.
Oh.
Give me the touchdown.
I think I said on a previous show I'd want to go like the way I'd want to go is like in bed with my wife, but not that way, like the Basic Instinct way where she like, has an ice pick.
Yeah.
Shout out
Also,
Basic Instinct.
Scott Fish and you saying I was banned from the Discord. You know what? It's the holiday season. Let's unban Scott Fish from the Discord. Give him another chance.
Fine.
We'll give him another chance over there.
Oh, this hoodie is really hot.
It gets hot. It gets hot, dude. I'll try it with the headphones over. I don't know why I went with that move.
I got my hair cut off too.
There we go. Guys, coming up, we are going to run through our Thursday night football predictions here on Better Sports Network on the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. So make sure you guys are sticking around for that. And as always, if you've got any questions for us Thursday night football, make sure you throw them in the chat. We are more than happy to answer everything that you throw our way. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on BSN.
Green Screens Media back at it again with your BSN timeout, and today recapping all of the action from this year's World Cup. With me today, our purveyor of the pitch, Mr. Jay Heinrich. Jay, let's start with the U.S. men's national team. It was our first time making it past group play since 2010. Unfortunately, we're on the wrong side of a 3-1 result against the Netherlands, but I really liked our team's ability to create chances in this game. It feels like there are some things that we can build off here. What did you see from the U.S. side that gives you the most cause for hope for 2026 and beyond?
It's obvious that Tyler Adams is the future of the U.S. men's program. He covered more ground than any other player in the tournament before the U.S. were knocked out by the Netherlands. He's the captain of this team. He'll wear the captain's armband, and he's going to play that role of Captain America for the U.S. heading into the 2026 World Cup. Let's look ahead to the round of 8, headlined, in my opinion, by England versus France. In the round of 16, Portugal found their stroke. Brazil were clinical. England ended up with a great result after a shaky start. What bet do you find the most enticing in the round of 8?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Portugal minus 150 to win against Morocco. I mean, it feels like they should probably be a bigger favorite here. I think a lot of that has to do with the underdog story of the Moroccan side. I mean, they're coming off of their World Cup final in a win against Spain. They're really walking into a letdown spot. And Portugal feels like they're an entirely new squad. after moving Ronaldo from the starting lineup, replaced him with Ramos, and he rewarded that decision with a hat trick immediately. Look, Morocco is going to try to make it difficult for Portugal to advance and press forward, but ultimately I think they're going to find a pretty similar result as the Swiss did.
Yeah, betting matchup that I really like. It just feels like a draw coming between England and France. It's the likeliest of the four to go all the way to penalties for me. It just feels like a 2-2 type of game with all the talent that's going to be out there on the pitch. If I had to pick a side, I might lean France. But these two countries are going to battle it out, and it's going to be an awesome, exciting match all the way to the finish.
Love it when these come down to PKs. I want to look at the futures market from the 8 remaining teams. Is there a price out there that's catching your eye?
It's a team that I picked to win it all from the start. It's Argentina. Right now they're sitting at plus 550. They've overcome that opening match loss to Saudi Arabia. They've been excellent since then. They're their most dangerous when Messi scoring for obvious reasons. Get Alvarez going too. This Argentine squad is going to find their way to the end of this tournament and lift that trophy.
Those plus 550 odds. That will do it for your BSN timeout. Make sure you stay locked here on the Better Sports Network and check out Green Screens Media on Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube so you don't miss a minute of our World Cup coverage.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Joey, we convinced to stick around with us. Our friend JL is going to have to leave a little bit early today, but we got Joey sticking around for the rest of the show, helping get you prepped for some Thursday night football.
What director bracket are we doing next?
The next director bracket we're doing is M. Night Shyamalan.
That should be a quick one.
Yeah. It's really just one movie that's going
to have a twist ending nobody expected.
And I can only think of one M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh my God, Simon.
Is Slumdog Millionaire M. Night Shyamalan? So I can think of one M. Night Shyamalan movie.
No, Slumdog Millionaire is not M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the second one that I
Boyle.
thought I was going to throw on the list, but it was not correct. So that is actually not what we're doing. We are rolling up into our Thursday night football predictions contest. So we're all going to be making Thursday night football predictions. Whoever gets the most right is our winner. The other 2 or 3, Dale, you're going to be at a slight disadvantage here because you may not get to all of the predictions today, but will be our loser today. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Dale, I cannot hear you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There we go. Dustin said someone boot Simon. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Dale, I'll head out in a little bit. You stick around. I deserve it. I deserve it after what's been said here today. So, guys, how this is going to work is we have a bunch of different predictions that we're going to make about tonight's game. Get it right, you get a point. Get it wrong, you do not. The first one, straight up, who's going to win this game? The Las Vegas Raiders or the Los Angeles Rams? Coop, we'll start with you. Who's going to win this game?
Just straight up, no spread, no nothing.
The spread's going to be coming up next, but we're talking just straight up who's going to win this game right now.
Okay. Ani Koopy, if you're watching, cover your ears and eyes on this one because I'm going to pick the Raiders to beat her Rams. Unfortunately, I'll be rooting for the Rams. I'm rooting for Ani Koopy. I'm rooting for the Rams. I don't want to eat a tomato, so I am rooting for the Rams, but I think the Raiders are going to win.
We got PJC in the chat saying not Baker Mayfield as who's going to win tonight's game. Is Baker Mayfield starting? Have we gotten any confirmation or anything? Because that would be shocking if he got out there on the field.
No chance, dude. He doesn't even know the plays.
They try to fly the playbook out to him, and I don't think it made it in time.
Damn.
That's not a
I
joke.
don't think he hasn't practiced, hasn't done any of that. So
I mean, well, he got on a plane real quickly. They must have had like another plane that they were trying to do like the throw from one to the other move.
Classic, the midair refuel.
They don't have like
exactly.
They don't have like a PDF. You know what I mean? Like it's 2022. You know what I mean?
I just said that the other day whenever I opened the mail and there was like bills and notices from my insurance. And I was like, this is so stupid that they're sending me a piece of paper that's important in 2022. Just email it to me. This is a waste of time. It's a waste of paper. It's a waste of energy. Like stop sending me that stuff in the mail because I'm probably just going to shred it. I'm not going to read it. Joey, where's your vote going on this one?
Yeah,
Or not a vote.
this Rams team is in shambles right now. It's gonna be the Raiders. I actually kind of like the way they've been playing lately. Josh Jacobs has been like running the ball down people's throats, and Devontae Adams is making circus catches. Yeah, Raiders for me.
JL, what you got here? Raiders or Rams? Who's winning?
I'm gonna go with the Raiders.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do it. The Raiders, and it's going to be a sweep here. We all agreed on this first one, so we're all either going to get a point or not get a point. I can't see this Rams team getting anything going offensively enough to beat the Raiders tonight. Just what are they going to do? Like how is this team going to beat them? I don't see the path. But that being said, it's Thursday Night Football. It's on Amazon Prime. Crazier stuff has happened this season, so
I'll tell you the path. There is no path for the Rams to beat the Raiders. There is a path for the Raiders to lose this game for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, bad interceptions, turnovers. The Raiders can lose. That happens in football sometimes. Sometimes a team just comes out and loses a game, you know.
If they can like reincarnate Todd Gurley and magically heal Cooper Kupp, they could maybe win this game tonight.
I'm banking on it, dude. Maybe Andrew Whitworth will come out and play. What is he like, 42?
Yeah. Just throws his headset off and he's like, I'm in.
Come on, money. I need it now.
Andrew Whitworth was an all-pro, which is a much harder team to make than Pro Bowl. He was an all-pro at like 38 or 39 years old, like maybe even 40. Like that guy is legend beast.
He's on the Joe Thomas diet too. He looks really good since he left the league. Like
right, the Jeff Saturday. You forget that Jeff Saturday was a big fat lineman, dude.
Yeah.
He's
coaching the team.
Say that. You can't just say that.
Sorry,
Tommy in the chat.
He's a big, strong lineman.
He's a big, strong, fat lineman. Tommy in here saying, "Well said, Coop," and then saying Raiders did lose to Jeff Saturday, so he's not counting his chickens before they hatch.
Full circle.
We had a question from Tyson come in here before we get to our next prediction. Said, "Is Waddle scheduled to play this week? Even if he is, should I play Akers over him after a good week and potentially Mayfield coming in?" So, Joey, would you be playing Waddle or are you plugging in Akers tonight?
I'm playing Waddle. Like I haven't seen that there's like that much of an injury risk for him. And yeah, I'm not convinced after one decent, maybe a little bit better than decent game from Cam Akers, that Cam Akers is going to be anything good for this offense.
John Luke, what do you think here? You agreeing with Joey?
Yeah, no, you got to start Waddle. Him and Cam Akers aren't in the same realm talent-wise, and the health concerns are a little worrisome for Jalen Waddle, but not enough for me to pivot off him for a less or a much more inferior option.
Yesterday, I was looking for Jalen Waddle news, and so I'm like, just searching Jalen Waddle on Twitter, and 75% of the tweets that would come up weren't even really actually about Jalen Waddle. There were pictures and videos of soccer players at the World Cup doing his dance after scoring.
Yeah.
Have you seen that? It's like, I'm trying to find news here. Can you please not? But at the same time, I really appreciated it.
And Dave is in here saying, worst case, if Waddle misses, you can add Trent Sherfield and plug him in. If that's available, I would much rather that over playing Akers tonight. I'm with you guys. I don't trust that he's taken over this backfield. We may see some more Kyron Williams. Not sure.
Would you guys start a Seattle waiver running back or Cam Akers?
Cam Akers.
Cam Akers, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there's uncertainty in both situations, right? Yeah. But we saw it from Cam Akers last week. So
apparently my hatred is too deep seated.
You're going with the Seattle running backs?
I think I would. If it's Travis Homer alone, I like that guy. I don't know.
Yeah. He can bust a big TD. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
He can bust a big TD. Well, we all picked Las Vegas to win this game. Our next one is who will cover the spread. So Vegas, they're 6.5 point favorites. So minus 6.5 for Vegas, plus 6.5 for the Rams. Dale, you want to kick us off on this one? What do you think is going to happen here?
I think that 6.5 points is a decent amount. It's a full score. I think that the Rams will be able to cover the spread here. I almost went the other side, and I'm changing my mind. I'm gonna take the Rams to cover here. I think McVay will figure out a way to make this work, and the Raiders aren't really scary enough in my mind to be able to just like lock them in as a surefire. Like it's gonna be a blowout.
I like it, JL. Though This is the one that's probably like one of the toughest ones for me out of this entire list of predictions that we're running through here. I think the Raiders get it done. Offensively. And this Rams team really struggles to score. Not that the Raiders are going to go out there and drop 50 points on them, but I don't think they have to cover a 6.5 point spread. I think they can score in the 20s and have this game and cover that spread. So I'm going to take the Las Vegas Raiders here to cover -6.5. Coop, where are you rolling?
Yeah, I think if it was 7, a full touchdown there, then I might pause, but 6.5, I think that the Raiders can win by a touchdown or more. Again, apologies, Tony Coop, but give me the Raiders here. Got to go with what I believe is going to happen versus what I want to happen.
Okay, there we go. 2 Raiders. JL taking the Rams. Joey, where are you rolling on this one?
Oh, so JL did take the Rams. I was going to say, if all 3 of you took the Raiders, I'm going to take the Rams just for gamesmanship, just to get a leg up. Because I want to win, go homer. Yeah, I'll side with the Raiders covering. I think they could win this bigger than a touchdown.
We got 3 Raiders and 1 Rams.
6.
Yeah, JL, I think you might have a sneaky cover right here. I don't mind that play. We got that pretty good. What about the over-under now? Coop, the over-under is set at 43.5 points. I see Tommy down here in the chat with a score prediction saying Raiders win 24-20, which would be just over the over, sitting there at 44 points. It sounds like Tommy takes the over, but barely. Coop, what are you doing this?
I'm going to do this.
I'm going to do this as the under. And I know that's boring, but again, I really think the Rams have kind of given up. That team, they're missing all their they're missing their 3 best players. Aaron Donald, Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp. Put them in whatever order you want. The 3 best and most important players. I just really don't think the Rams are going to do anything here. So I could see a low-scoring game where the Raiders, win like 17-3 or something like that. And that would be way under. It could be like 21-10, and they cover and it's under. So give me the under.
The disrespect to Tutu Atwell, not including him as one of the best 3 players on that team, Coop. I'm just a little bit shocked, actually.
Yeah, a little shocked, dude. Tutu.
A little shocked.
Joey, Coop's taking the under on this one. Do you agree with Coop, or are you rolling with the over with Tommy in the chat?
No, I agree with Coop. I could see the Raiders putting up 24. I don't see this Rams team putting up 20 points. I don't. I know it doesn't have to be 24-20, but yeah, it's going to be the under on the point total.
Joey taking the under as well. JL, you taking the under with these guys? I also see Pat over here in the YouTube chat saying McDaniels likes running up the score if he can. So McDaniels likes running up that score. JL, which side are you leaning on here?
I think that this game is going to fall apart. I'm going to take the over.
Oh, okay.
I think we're going to get just a garbage game. It's just going to be chaos, tons of scoring. I'm going with Pat here. Take the over.
Yeah. To JL's point, that like whenever there's a pick 6 in a game, that's such a quick way for points to go right on the board and another team get the ball back. Like if it does turn into a chaos game, that those scores can get out of hand pretty quick. So I like the narrative.
I'm rolling with you, JL. I'm taking the over on this one as well. I think we get some decent offensive production from these Raiders. Josh Jacobs comes out another big game against the Rams on Thursday night. I'm going to be pretty happy about that. So I'll take the over here. So 2 overs, 2 unders. Me and JL taking the over, Coop and Joey taking the under. We got Shelly in the chat saying, hello, fellas. What's up, Shelly?
Hello,
welcome, man.
Shelly.
Morning, Shelly.
Also, Jay says, shouldn't the title say Spielberg movies, not films? Who says films? Joey, that's the appropriate response. Thank you for that. Jay, that is exactly what you deserved for bringing that into the chat. Is our next matchup here, our next prediction that we're going to be making. This one we've talked a little bit about already with the question that we had about Cam Akers. What we want to know is who will have the most rush attempts tonight, Cam Akers or Kyron Williams? Who's going to start? I can start on this one. I haven't started on too many. I'll start on this one, and I'll go Akers. I'm going to say Akers gets more rushing attempts, but there is not a lot of certainty behind that. And that's why earlier I said to avoid starting him. I think it's probably the most likely outcome that Akers gets the most work after he had a pretty good game last week. But this Rams team, who knows what they're doing? They're out of playoff contention. They're seeing what they got in all these players. We could just see another Kyren Williams game tonight. JL, what are you doing here?
I think Cam Akers is going to have more rush attempts. So I'm going to go on the Cam Akers side. I do think it's going to be closer to an even split, maybe, and just leaning on the Cam Akers side. I'm kind of liking this narrative that I put out earlier in the week that they might just feed Cam Akers to try and boost up his trade value before the season ends. That way they could trade him in the offseason, since it's unlikely that they're going to continue being happy on the same team. So I'll go Cam Akers here.
2 Cam Akers. Coop, what do you think? Akers or Williams? Who has more rush attempts?
So a buddy of mine, and you guys, I don't know why I said buddy of mine because I know you guys know him too. Wyatt from JWB Football.
Oh, I love Wyatt.
Yeah, he's awesome. So Wyatt had an interesting tweet where he said, this week in a competitive game script, Cam Akers played 72% of the snaps. Kyren Williams played 28%. The week before that, in a trailing game script, Kyren Williams played 70% of the snaps. Cam Akers played 30%. So it's kind of like looking like if that holds true. I know it's a very small sample size of only 2 games, but if that holds true, it could be like a Jerick McKinnon versus Pacheco situation where they like this guy on passing downs, they like the other guy on running downs. Since I've already leaned pretty hard into the Rams getting blown out here, I'm going to predict that it's going to be a negative game script, which means that maybe Kyren Williams does play 60, 70% of the snaps. So I'm going to go with Kyren Williams on this one as the third down back, potentially, just going to, we've seen tons of times where teams are losing and they run the ball 6 or 7 times in the game. And one guy gets 4 carries and one guy gets 2. And that's how that battle goes. So I think I'm going to take Kyren Williams here and just say the Rams going to be too far behind to just be giving a ton of handoffs to Cam Akers.
So we got 2 Akers, 1 Williams from Coop, and I like the reasoning. Joey, where are you going here? Is it Akers or Williams who gets more carries tonight?
I think Akers gets more carries, but Kyren ends up with more fantasy points. If I can throw some shade at Akers there. No, but I do think last week will earn Akers a lion's share of the carries here. Whether he deserves them as the talent, I don't know. JL said that the best thing for them to do is get him out there, try to trade him off. That could be what they're doing.
Fantasy Nav in the chat asking, are Fun Taps back? Fun Taps are back, baby. Unlimited, unthrottled, no governor, no restrictions. We unnerfed the fun button. So go ahead and start smashing it. See if we can break it, because they told us it was unbreakable now. Let's test it.
Funny thing about that.
Let's see if we can break that fun button now.
They told me the Titanic was unsinkable. They told me the fun button.
Who told you that?
James Cameron.
Spielberg.
Hey, a couple film guys here in the house. How you doing?
Have you guys seen the Bob's Burgers episode where they go on the Titanic recreation dinner cruise where they
good, bro.
And God, it's just so good. And they're like, it is sinkable. There is no way this ship cannot not sink. And they're just going on, and then they miss the iceberg. That's one of my favorite Bob episodes. It's so funny.
That's a smart show.
It's a good show. It's a pretty good show. Also, Eric in the chat saying exactly what they want you to think. That's what I'm saying. We got to test it. See if we can break that fun button. We were just talking Cam Akers, so we've got another Cam Akers prediction here. Cam Akers will have over or under 10 PPR fantasy points. Dale, over or under 10 PPR fantasy points for Cam Akers?
Cam Akers over or under 10. I'm going to go with over.
Dale taking the over. And I guess that kind of aligns with your last prediction of Akers having the most rushing attempts. Coop, over or under 10 PPR fantasy points for Akers?
I'm just going to keep riding, keep putting all my eggs in this one basket and say that it's going to be
on bone basket.
Bone basket, dude. Yeah. If the script doesn't go the way I think, then I'm going to get boned big time here. But Cam Akers,
Indiana boned
based on the Indiana bone basket.
Coop taking the under on this one. Joey, what about you? Over or under for 10 PPR fantasy points for Cam Akers?
10 PPR fantasy points is that's a nice number, but it is still kind of a low number. I could see him fall in the end zone and having 30 yards, and that would get him 10 points. So sure. Actually, I'd only get him 9 points, so he'd need 40 yards. Oof, now it's tough. I'll still go over on it, though.
Are we taking the over? Man. I think I go over here as well. It's a low threshold, and if I think he's going to be the lead back, I think he gets 10 PPR fantasy points.
It's a good line.
So I'm going to roll that way. It's a really good line. I sat here just debating the entire time. Which way am I going to go? Which way is it going to be?
That's tricky Vegas boys.
It was me. Haha.
JL's the tricky Vegas
Vegas
boy.
doesn't give you fantasy point lines.
They really should. I mean, there's no
They
reason
should.
not to.
John Luke, I know you got to head out shortly, but appreciate you being here and hanging out with us every single day.
Thanks, man. Happy to be here. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your morning. I'll be back tomorrow, though.
Are you in a hotel room?
I am in a hotel. Yes, I'm in Atlanta.
What
Shout out
branch of
Atlanta,
a
best
hotel are
city
you
in
in?
the U.S.
Marriott.
Ooh, a Marriott.
Fancy
Envoy
nice, right?
by Marriott. Is it Marriott or Marriott? I've said
It's
Marriott my
I don't
entire
know
life,
why I
and
said it
now
weird.
ever
It's
get those
Marriott.
calls like, "Hi, this is Marriott, and you've won a free trip to Orlando." And I'm like, "No, I haven't." And stop calling me. Could you stop by the front desk and ask him to stop calling me, JL?
Yeah, I could tell him. And Tim, I knew Tim was gonna come in and say, "You didn't tell me, rude." Tim,
Wait,
it's
we
gonna
didn't tell him
text you
what?
today.
That you were at a
But I also
Marriott?
don't think I have any time
That he's
to
in
see it,
Atlanta.
which is the sad part.
Oh, that he's in
And
Atlanta.
I didn't want to have to text you that.
Well, JL, thank you so much. We're gonna keep this predictions contest rolling over here. Enjoy your day in Atlanta. Ride
All right,
Marta
see ya.
for me. Talk to you later, JL.
Bye, JL.
Our
thank God.
next. Okay, now we can talk about movies again. Now that the guy who hates Indiana Jones is gone.
I love that Scott. They were like, you say movies or film, and Scott says, I say pictures in old timey voice. Pictures.
I
Me and the
when I
old
saw
lady
one-
went down the pictures. See,
Heck yeah. When I saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Al Pacino goes, "What a picture." I've never felt so seen by like a movie line. I
Called
actually
out.
use it in memes all the time.
you were called out for your pretentiousness.
All the time. My friends are like, they will not listen to movie recommendations of me because I'm like, guys, I watched this French film today. It's really good. And then they'll watch it and they'll be like, Joey, like it was just two guys looking at a button for an hour and a half. I'm like, I know, wasn't it great?
Great, dude. Yeah. Minimalist. Yeah. And my buddies give me, they talk trash about that too. And my go-to meme for that is I send them that Timothy Chalamet meme. Don't criticize my manifesto.
Mm-hmm. I love Chalamet. Anyways,
he's great.
I
stop
I do
myself.
not have that prop. People usually don't react that way when I send them Nacho Libre. They're usually like, great movie. I loved it. I've seen it 20 times before, and Jack Black is a national treasure.
But like, I think it's important. Don't crap on people for their movie taste because they're there to entertain you, and people are entertained by different things. So,
I
same
will.
Same with music as well. Unless
you like the
Rascal
first
Flatts.
Avatar, then go F yourself.
I will. The one thing I will continue to crap on Simon for is not having seen these classic movies. Though.
Yes.
Like if you like the movie, fine. If you don't like the movie, fine. But some of these movies, man, you gotta check them out.
I will say I do have it on my calendar to go see Pulp Fiction.
I'm very excited.
Pulp Fiction is playing at the local art house cinema. And
Okay.
Joey said I should see it in the theaters the first time I see it since I've never seen it before.
If you have the
So,
opportunity.
Yeah. And so it's there. It's coming up in December, in a couple weeks. So we're going to head on down there and see it at the art house cinema. I'll see Pulp Fiction for the first time. I'll give you guys a review. And then once every 3 months, I'll watch another one of these classic movies.
Perfect.
I'm so excited for you.
Pulp Fiction. Tommy said, awesome movie, top 5 all time. Never seen it. We'll let you know where it lands on that list of my top movies of all time. We'll see. Our next prediction, guys, we've got Josh Jacobs will have over or under 87.5 rushing yards. 87.5 rushing yards. Hoop, what do you think here? He's been a monster, but that's a high line.
I'm just gonna keep it rolling with the bone basket, my man. Over. I think if the Raiders gonna win big, it's gonna be that kind of game where it's Josh Jacobs, ground and pound, and Rams go to sleep.
Oop, I'm with you. This is a Jacobs game. It has Jacobs written all over it. They've been feeding him, and this is a matchup where they can continue to do so. So I'm taking the over for Josh Jacobs as well here. The only concern Tommy just brought up said unless they go up big and put in Zamir White, we'll see. That could happen, but Josh Jacobs has been getting all that work. Joey, we've got 2 overs. Which way are you rolling here?
2 weeks ago, Josh Jacobs would have broken that over under in one run. So, yeah, I mean, 144 last week, 229 the week before that, and 109 for the. Yeah, he's on a streak right now. Let's go, Josh Jacobs. I'll smash that over.
We're all agreeing on that one. We got the triple over for Josh Jacobs. Jay wants to know, what is your favorite MCU film, Joey? And I think he's trying to get a reaction, but do you have a favorite MCU movie?
So I have been on the record saying I don't really enjoy the MCU. I appreciate it because it kept theaters open. My favorite MCU movie is the first Guardians of the Galaxy because they basically just took Indiana Jones and Star Wars and smacked them together. And it was
that one
great.
is a fun one.
I love it. I've watched it multiple times.
I think mine is Winter Soldier, and I don't like Captain America is not my favorite Avenger, but that movie is just so good. I enjoy watching that one.
I like the
Bucky's
first
such a fun character.
Yeah,
I like the first Iron Man when he's in the
classic.
cave, dude. That's classic, bro.
That is classic. Also,
Guardians
Jason, I will
Guardians of the Galaxy with the soundtrack though. That's kind of that was
God.
sick. It's so good.
I'm a sucker for a movie with a good soundtrack. Like if a movie has good music, it changes it.
Perfect casting in the sequel for who they had as Star-Lord's dad, by the way. Like, cannot get any better.
Oops, excuse that hiccup right there. We have another Josh Jacobs prediction.
Okay.
Will Josh Jacobs be a top 5 PPR running back in week 14? So we just guessed on his over under for the rush yards. We all took the over. Joey, is Josh Jacobs a top 5 PPR running back in week 14?
I have him ranked there, so I'll say yes, he will be.
Joey taking yes, he will be top 5. Coop, what about you?
I'm gonna go under on this one, that he's not gonna be top 5, just because how hard it is to be top 5 from week to week. Like we've seen a week where Jamal Williams scored 3 touchdowns and he wasn't top 5. Like, you know, the Ecklers of the world coming out catching all these passes and stuff. I still think the Rams are decent enough that he's not gonna have like 150 yards. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to be top 5. I'm gonna say that he's not top 5. I got to differentiate myself from Joey on some of these bets as well, because I know we're very similar on many of them. So
yeah, I think we zigged on one.
Couple. We have one. Yeah. So I gotta separate myself from you. I gotta find a way to differentiate. That's part of the reasoning here.
Yeah.
What hurts here is like there's the usual suspects up top, right? You got the Austin Ecklers, the Derrick Henrys. Jonathan Taylor being on bye helps this, right? There's one name that we don't have to worry about. You got a bunch of other players on bye, but when you look at some of these matchups, Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott, both at Houston. Know what I mean? One of those guys could easily crack the top 5. Joe Mixon at Cleveland in his first game back. He could jump up there in the top 5. Those are names that maybe I wouldn't expect to be in there week in, week out that are becoming contenders because of their matchups. I think I'm still going to roll Josh Jacobs as a top 5 back this week. His game script seems to support it, but I'm a little bit nervous. I think there's a bunch of good matchups of players that are generally right outside that top 5 that might be able to sneak their way in there. So I'm going to roll that way.
You know,
I'm going to
crazy
say yes.
Is Josh Jacobs is about to enter. He seems like he's about to enter that usual suspects group.
He should be there for me. Know what I mean? Like he is one of the usual suspects at this point. Something to Sasquatch about
I would say real quick. The problem with the usual suspects is there's often that random guy too that like we would never name. Like Deion Jackson was the RB1 overall one week, or like Kenyon Drake has a top 5 week. Like Donta Foreman has top 5 weeks. So you got to also factor in the rando guy. Like there's going to be some rando that'll be in there probably.
Like Jeff Wilson or Raheem Mostert could all of a sudden blow up against this weak Chargers defense, and we've got one of them sitting in the top 5. That's well within the range of possibilities. Something to Sasquatch about coming in here with the super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. They said, I don't get up at 7 a.m. Hope you guys have a great day.
Super chat.
I'll let you in on a secret. I'm not very good at getting up at 7 a.m. either. But we do it because we love being up here. And you guys wake me up pretty quickly once we start talking.
Technically, you get up at 6 where you live, right?
Yeah, the show starts at 6 a.m. Central Time over here in the second best time zone in the U.S.
Shout out, Simon.
Mountain's the best?
Mountain's the best time zone. I think
so.
Central second best, Eastern third, Pacific fourth. That's how I'm going to rank them.
Best Coast. We're living
you
in the
future.
future.
You got to stay up too late for football. You got to stay up too late for football.
I'm living in the future.
See, football already ends a little bit late here on Thursday nights. Like it'll be 11, sometimes close to midnight. You got to get some games that go to 1 a.m. where you are.
when I was visiting Denver, like I absolutely did love that mountain time.
I think it's the best sports clock. There's not a better sports time zone than mountain time.
So what time does football starts at 11 on Sundays?
Yep, starts at 11 and 2 are the time slots.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. And then 6:20 for Sunday night football. Like, count me in.
Yeah. Still do a date night with your lady after Sunday night football. Go see a late movie.
Beautiful
sushi. Yeah,
beautiful. It works. But then West Coast, you get a little too early. Like West Coast, I went on a hike and then went to go check the Clemson score at like 11 a.m. and the game was over.
What?
Like it was just done. And I was like, I really thought that game wasn't going to be in the morning, but I got confused about time zones as I always do.
I was not prepared for that. All for my bachelor party, we were like, oh, football's on. We were in a pool. Football's on. We got to start crushing beers. And then next thing you know, it's like, we had been drinking beer since 10 a.m. And it's like 4 o'clock. We're like, oh, we got to. Then we went to a game and we were already toast. Like, and we got out of the game and it was still sunny out. I was like, I'm gonna go die now.
That is the worst. The 5 p.m. hangover, where you start drinking in the morning and you are hungover before you had the opportunity to go to bed. Like, God, the sun will do it to you. If you drink a lot, then just stand there in the sun. You are going to be hung over.
Hooked up.
Shout out JJ Zachariason and the East Coast dads. He knows what we're talking about. He agrees that East Coast time isn't so good for watching football. Those are our Josh Jacobs predictions. Sounds like overall we're pretty bullish on him this week. Coop, even you saying no to top 5 didn't sound like an indictment of Josh Jacobs. It just sounded like that's hard, man.
He's top 5 in my rankings. Basically, part of my argument is that a guy that we wouldn't rank top 5 has a high likelihood of sneaking in the top 5. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Also, I see Matt in here saying Wayne Gallman. Wayne Gallman signed with the Seahawks. As a Clemson fan, I'm excited to see some Wayne Gallman out there on the field. He signed to the practice squad, though, right?
Who's even more excited? Leanne.
My girlfriend?
Yeah.
Leanne. I said this yesterday on one of our shows. Wayne Gallman is like the most handsome man in the world, according to Leanne. Like, he is number 1 on the handsome charts. Every time he comes up on the screen, every time he comes up in conversation, Leanne just can't help it but say, my God, he's so handsome. He's so handsome.
He is nice to look at.
Where do you rank on the Leanne's handsome charts, Simon?
Probably 3 at the highest.
You're in the conversation, though.
It goes Wayne Gallman, Harry Styles, and then I think we can start talking about me. Like, I think then I can be brought up. Not that we're quite there yet.
I'd put you in that group. Joey's tied with on Leanne's chart. Joey's tied with you for 3rd.
No, I said I'm 3rd on my wife's chart.
Yeah. Goop, where do you rank on your wife's chart?
I'm probably not even in the top 20.
Oh, you're in my top 20.
Oh,
yeah, that's nice.
Tommy said we need a bracket. What, just a handsome bracket? I'll get Leanne to put together a bracket of the people she thinks are most handsome.
Ani Koopy will nominate Darren Waller. I think that's
I will vote so hard for Darren Waller.
She's also a big Tim Wright fan from this show.
Oh.
But who isn't?
Yeah. I mean, come on, that flow, that mustache, the dude's just got a sparkle in his eye. Shout out Tim.
Coop's probably
he got all the good looks in the family.
Coop's probably gonna be mad at me for saying that, but Tim's an angel. We all love Tim.
Guys, my next question for you is: of these players, which Rams wide receiver will finish with the most PPR points? Ben Skronek, Tutu Atwell, or Van Jefferson? I'll go first here. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think they're going to try to see what they have in all of these players. There was some positive coach talk coming out about this guy during the week. I'm going to say Tutu Atwell. I'm going to say this is a Tutu Atwell game. I am buying into what the coaches are saying. This is a losing team, a game they're supposed to lose, and they want to see what they got. Like, we've seen flashes. Let's see if Tutu Atwell can do something as the top target on this team this week. I'm rolling Atwell.
Oh.
Coop, what about you?
I'm going to go ahead and pick the player that I believe to be the best wide receiver on the team, which would be Van Jefferson. Coach's kid, can play all the positions. Haven't really been impressed by Ben Skronek, and Tutu Atwell. He is a boom bust guy, super fast. He has the potential to make the biggest play, which I think that's Simon. That's what you're banking on, right? Like Tutu could drop a 40+ yard play. And if we're expecting the team to not do much, that could do it. But I think Van is just the best player of the group, so I'm going to pick it.
Van Jefferson. What about you, Joey?
Yeah, it's good to be a Florida Gator. So Van Jefferson for me.
We got 2 VJeffs and 1 Atwell. And you know what? You guys probably are correct, but I'm buying into that coach speaking that they want to see what they got in him, that they're going to try purposely to get him more involved. So I'm going to roll 2 too.
Now's the time.
So Dustin says, stop saying his name like that. Which name is he talking about? Skronik? Am I saying it wrong?
Isn't it Ben? It's Ben Skronik, no?
Yeah, I think it is Ben Skronik, but I could be wrong.
It's Ben Johnson. You keep pronouncing it wrong.
We've just been saying it over and over and over again. Van Jefferson, over or under 2.5 receptions? Joey, over under 2.5.
That's a smash over.
Yeah, I took Atwell here, but I'm going to take the over on this as well. I could see a 4 for 37 line tonight from Van Jefferson. Easy. Coop, what about you?
Yeah, I already made my bet last round. Filling that, dude. I could get if the Rams somehow have a good game and the Raiders have a bad game, I could get all these completely wrong. So I'm going to go over on Van.
Taking the over on Van as well from Coop. Got 3 overs on that one. I think that line seems low, doesn't it, for Van Jefferson? Also, Dustin clarifying here. He said, yes, it is Ben Skronik. And he said, you say it like scrotum, and that's not right. Well, Dustin, the reason I say it like that is probably because that's exactly how I read it. And I have to actively fight against saying that word every single time I say his name. It's a conscious effort not to say Ben Scrotum each and every time that I say his name out loud.
Ben Scrotum Neck? That's
Don't say that. You just crossed the line adding neck on there.
You said scrotum 5 times, but I crossed the line.
And you said neck.
That's true.
But Dustin, thank you for clarifying that it was all about the word scrotum.
Dustin. He is our local pronunciation expert, is he not?
He has helped us out multiple times. So if you want to give us the legit pronunciation in the chat, Dustin, I'll correct my phrasing over there. Our next prediction is a Davante Adams one. Davante Adams will finish in the top 4 wide receivers. So do you think he will be a top 4 wide receiver, Joey?
Not in this game. I probably have him ranked there if I looked. He might be right at 4. But kind of Coop's logic on the top 5, it's especially with wide receiver. To finish as a top 5 wide receiver, you just have to have like just a baller game. And I don't think this is a baller game for Adams. I think it's a good game for him.
Coop, what about you?
Couldn't have said it better. I'm right there. Like you need the shootout. There's going to be too many guys involved in shootouts that top that list. Adams is an auto start, but I'm just not going to bet he's top 4. He could be.
Amon St. Brown and Justin Jefferson are ahead of him for me this week, and that's 2 guys right there. And I only had to go to 1 game to get that.
Right. If this game script was, if we expected this to be a more competitive game, I might be more willing to go on the yes here, but I'm expecting a blowout. I took the over on Josh Jacobs' rush yards at 87.5. I said, yes, Josh Jacobs will be a top 5 running back. I'm not saying also, yes, Davante Adams is going to be a top 5 or a top 4 wide receiver. So sorry, Davante Adams, not quite making the cut in the top 4 for any of us today, but we've got another Davante Adams one. Davante Adams will have over or under 1.5 receiving touchdowns. Coop, are you changing yes or no on this one?
No. Sticking with the under. To predict anyone to have 2 touchdowns, you got to be confident. And I already said I didn't think he was going to be top 4, so I'm going to go under.
Joey, you agreeing with Coop here?
Yep.
And I'm going to do it as well. If he gets 2 touchdowns, I might be changing my answer to that first one. Like if you told me right now that he was going to get 2 touchdowns, I'd probably be a little more confident that he would be in that top 4 wide receiver range. But I'm going to roll with no on that one. And then what about this one? Davante Adams over under 89.5 receiving yards. Joey, over under 89.5.
Yeah, man.
And Tommy in the chat was on the last one saying, depends if Ramsey shadows him, but man will be a good matchup.
That's a good line. I'll take the over. I think he can hit over on that and not finish as a top 5 wide receiver pretty easily. Both those things can happen.
Damn.
Coop, what about you?
That'd be a nice parlay, probably.
Joey's saying exactly what I'm thinking. Last week there were 15 guys that hit that yardage total. It's not that hard to hit it. But like you look at, who finished high in, in fantasy, like Christian Watson was a wide receiver 8. He only had 48 yards, but he caught 2 touchdowns. So it's not that hard to hit that number and then still not be a top 4 wide receiver in fantasy. I mean, last week DJ Chark had 98 yards. He was wide receiver 23. So I'll go, Darius Slayton had also hit it with 90. He was wide receiver 22. So I'll go over that he can get the yards and just not, he's just not going to have multiple touchdowns. And he probably will.
I'm going to take the under here. I'm going to take the under. That is a lot of yards, and I expect this to be a pretty run-heavy game for the Rams. Maybe a big first half for Devontae Adams, and then he's not as involved in the second half as they're just chewing clock and keeping that victory, keeping that lead. So I'm going to roll with the under on Devontae Adams right there. Jay in here says Baker will be active. If he plays, depends on Wolford's health. So it's going to come down to whether Wolford is healthy or not. That's wild that this guy, like, he showed up in LA like this morning.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude. God. Maybe you sneak him out there for one play just to see, just to have him chuck it.
He's not played with any of these receivers before. I'm trying to think if there's anyone that he's played with on this team. And
where did Tutu Atwell go to college? I can't remember. Not with Baker, but I'm having a hard time remembering.
Feels like USC, but let me look it up.
Why does it feel like USC?
It's not. It's Louisville.
Okay.
It just seems like a USC guy.
Also, George here saying Baker will be benched by halftime if he starts. Man, but benched for who? For Bryce Perkins, for John Wolford, who the only reason he would start is if Wolford is out. That's the Rams are in a tricky situation. If Baker gets benched, then something really went wrong. If Baker starts tonight, that's a sign that something's already gone really wrong for the Rams when he's only been there for like 2 days. Let's hit one more, Coop, a tight end one real quick. We've got a couple more after that. Tight end Tyler Higbee, over or under 30.5 receiving yards. Where are you rolling here?
I'm going under. Like he's not running a ton of routes. I mean, in one of the games he ran 11 routes and blocked on 5 pass plays. Brutal. Didn't catch a single pass in that game. Last week he got targets, but they were pretty empty. He only caught 2 of them. And this guy runs super low A-dot routes, not even in the top 90 tight ends. It's like he's running like 3-yard routes. So 30 yards for him is kind of tough to get to when you're running such short routes and you're also not super fast. So I'm going under. No Higbee for me.
Give me the under on this one as well. Never Higbee. What about you, Joey?
Yeah, it's under for me. There's a few players I can think of, just like drop-offs that just really made me sad this year. And Higbee's drop-off has been really sad because I was riding him at tight end and getting some decent point totals in the beginning of the season. So
beginning of the year, he was getting peppered at the beginning of the year. But then they kind of switched his role, had him block a lot more, and it took the luster off that.
Absolutely. Scott Fish in here taking the under on that one as well. Everybody who joined us today, I want to thank everyone so much for taking the time to hang out with us bright and early this morning and every morning that you pop in. We are live every day, Monday through Friday from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time, talking football, movies, Pokemon, and a little bit of everything else, some hog talk as well. So if you enjoy any of that, make sure you wake up bright and early and spend that time with us. Coming up next on this network, you've got Moose and Keith, followed by Lunch Money presented by Fantasy Guru, and then Corey Nando and friends right after that. So make sure you guys are sticking around here on BSN for sports talk straight up. Enjoy your Thursday night football and good luck in your playoffs if you are already there. We will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Until then, though, we are out of here. Any final words, Joey?
The 3 of us work really well together. We should do this again sometime. Like maybe tonight.
Adios, everyone.
Who is that other guy?
We'll see you guys later. Have a good one.